Welcome back, Fence Fam. So good to see you. So good to be back. I tell you what, we just wrapped up the Staining University and Business Growth Accelerator here in Springfield, and I couldn't be happier with the turnout and how it went. I know a lot of you are still traveling home. I know Caleb and Kenny left out early this morning trying to get back home. I believe Matt's back home. He was back home last night, yesterday evening. But yeah, those of you that were able to make it, why don't you drop comments below if you're watching with us? Let us know your thoughts on how everything went. Let's check in, see who else here. Of course, the one and only Roger Bencourt's here. Forgot about the live stream. Thank you, notifications. I am here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Roger. Billy Grove says, Gulf Coast Fence Solutions checking in from Pensacola, Florida. Wish we could have made the open house. See you in February. That's a great point. The next event that we're hosting is Staining University in Nashville. I tell you what, it's going to be a big event. There's a lot of us coming together and talk fence and fence staining. We're also going to be bringing some power washers along, some cleaners and all that. Talk about basically all thing exterior cleaning and exterior restoration, that sort of thing. I'm stoked. I think it's going to be a massive event. So I'd have to go and look. I don't know if we've got final numbers yet on how many people showed up to the Staining University Business Accelerator here in Springfield. I want to say it's probably 25 to 30. Well, actually, I know we passed out raffle tickets. I think we had 30 or 35 raffle tickets passed out. So pretty decent attendance. We had about 10 or 15 here Wednesday for the open house at Ozark Fence. Got to show them around, show them the studio. Those of you that follow the Staining University Facebook page saw Kenny and Caleb crash the studio, held a live from this very room right here in this chair. So that was a good time. We showed everybody around, and we had a lot of good discussions revolving around how we run the business and just kind of clarifications and helping out with our process and operations manuals, a little bit of everything, really. So I talked about contracts and pre-stain and pre-dip over in the staining shop. So yeah, got to see a lot, got to look around, see a lot, but no worries, Billy. We'll be having another one next year. So those of you that weren't able to make it, we'll be here again next year. Hunter says, oh, almost forgot. Hit that like button. Almost. Yeah, that's right, guys. So hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel are both great free ways of getting notified or helping the channel, but also subscribing and hitting that notification bell is a great way to remind you that we've got content coming up. Because like Roger said, he almost forgot that we're having a live stream, but the notifications popped right up and let him know I was going live. Roger, thank you as always for your service to the channel. Might be a little rusty today. It's been a long few days. Adam Sims, Freedom Fencing, Georgia, North Metro, Atlanta. Adam Sims, welcome. It's good seeing you here in the live chat. All right, Stain Manager, greetings from Kansas. Kenny, I don't mean to tell you your business, but you might be lost. If you're getting from Southwest Missouri down to Texas, Kansas is the wrong way, buddy. You took a right instead of a left somewhere. Hopefully you know where you're going. If not, let me know. We'll get you home. No problem. You know, Kenny was here. One of the things Kenny was talking about, one of the many things Kenny was talking about is fence cleaning and fence restoration. And I tell you, so I do get up and talk a little bit about marketing and video marketing and why branding is important, that sort of thing. But I love sitting and being a student as well. And I told Kenny this last night that I really enjoy being a student of his and just learning all things chemistry, right? So Kenny talks about what cleans well and how it cleans. But more than that, he talks about the why it cleans. As far as the chemistry involved, why does it clean? What is the process? Or how does it clean? That sort of thing. We brought a trailer over because it was at the Doubletree Hilton in Doubletree by Hilton here in Springfield, which means they didn't have a wood deck. So we brought over a 16-foot trailer, which could use a little bit of a cleaning. And Kenny gave us a demonstration using some metasilicate and some oxalic acid, some wood brightener, and made that trailer look pretty sharp. My guys are going to be getting a little bit spoiled with this nice clean trailer. We're also going to, once we get it back, we're going to go ahead and stain it. That way we preserve the wood, keep it looking nicer longer. Unfortunately, we weren't able to actually stain fence, which is probably a key component of staining university, I would think. But it was pouring rain. It started Wednesday, probably midday, and didn't really let up until late last night or yesterday afternoon, last night, that sort of thing. And then when the rain let up, we had some wind like you wouldn't imagine. The wind was just incredible. So it was 18, from what I remember, 18 gusting to 35. So, and Kenny also, again, a wealth of knowledge, let us know that the EPA standards for spraying chemicals is 10 miles an hour. So if your wind gusts are above 10, it's probably not a great idea to be staining anything. That stain the wind drift will pick that stain up and take it who knows where. So we didn't actually get to stain anything. Bit of a bummer, but there's always next time. I don't know what it is about this event. We were kind of laughing about this at the event. Every event this year that we've hosted at Staining University, whether it was Nashville, Atlanta, Richmond, Columbus, gosh, where else? I'm probably missing a few here in Springfield. It's rained every single event. So I don't know what that means, but I guess what that means is if you need rain in your neck of the woods, just schedule Staining University. We'll come on out and we'll bring the rain with us. Kenny, greetings from Kansas. Like I said, I think you took a right instead of a left somewhere. Let me know and we'll get you home. James Blydell, hello. What is up, Fencefam? I think is what we're at. What is Fencefam? That's a good question. What is Fencefam? Fencefam is anyone who follows the channel, right? It's kind of the nickname of the group of people that hang out here and we talk about fence and fence staining and fence cleaning and running a business in general, marketing and branding. The people that watch the channel, we lovingly call the Fencefam. Actually, it's kind of a broader term now. I know there's a lot in the fencing community that use it in the Facebook pages, so maybe it's bigger than that. But when we started saying it here on the channel, it was really just to encompass our people here, our little community we've got going. James, welcome. Billy says, if it's not raining, you ain't training. Isn't that the truth? That's the truth this year. Like I said, it's been, and not just a little rain. I'm thinking back to the events we did this year, and it's not just a little rain. It's like biblical proportions pouring rain. It's massive amounts of rain. So I don't know. But we'd kind of come to the conclusion that, all right, if it's raining a little bit, if it's sprinkling, we can still put stain on this fence. Now, it's not going to stick, right? It's not going to be, it would stick to a certain degree. It's not going to penetrate as well. Oil and water don't mix. We know this. So, when we're teaching in the class, we're teaching, or Caleb's teaching, that the moisture content needs to be below 13%, 13 to 15%. If it's above 13 to 15%, then you've got some moisture issues, right? And the oil might not penetrate to its maximum capacity or its maximum performance. Maybe it's not going to perform as well. So you gotta let that wood dry out. Now, have we stained fence that's wet at trainings? Yes, because really in trainings, what we're trying to do is show, proper technique, use of the equipment, what it looks like to flood coat these fences, right? So for that, it's all right if it's a little wet. Being wet doesn't change the technique. It doesn't change the equipment we use and how we use it. I knew we were going to have a crew go back Mondays, as long as that fence is dry, head back Monday to go ahead and stain it anyway. So any of the stain that hadn't stuck, we would stain back over it, even everything out. It's going back with a walnut color, a nice dark color. It's going to give that fence a lot of protection moving forward. So we could blend it in pretty easily. But then the wind started. 18 to 35, 18 to 36. That would have blown that stain everywhere. So we want to take every precaution against getting spray on either the Doubletree property, the Aldi's property behind, the apartments to the other side of the fence. We want to make sure we didn't put spray and stain where it wasn't supposed to go. So, in the efforts of caution, I don't know. We're being cautious. Decided not to stain. So what we did do is we sprayed a little water on the fence. So same kind of methodology, right? Here's how you use the equipment. Here's how you prime the pumps. Here's how you spray it. Here's the pattern we look for. Kenny showed us his nice wide tips that he uses. Wow. It was interesting to see the difference between, I believe I'd had to go check. I believe the ones we were using were like a 521, 621. Kenny uses, I think, a 1225 or 1221. It was a big fan spray. So anyway, it was neat seeing that. Sad we didn't actually get to put stain on a fence, but that's the way the cards are dealt. Roger says, I'm Fence fan. James, welcome to the family. Absolutely. Fence fam. But you know what, Roger? You know what? That's right. You are a fence fan as well. Fence fan and fence fam. Don't necessarily need to be a fencer. Just come hang out and let's chat fence and chat about fence, and then you get to be in the fence fan too. Mission is free. We'll take you, everybody. As long as you behave yourself. Luckily, Roger behaves himself. Yep, that works too. Cannon Johnson's with us. What's up, man? Cannon, what's up with you? How are you, buddy? So on Thursdays, Cannon, Thursdays? Yes. Wednesdays. Cannon and Dan have a show on the Facebook, the Fencing Professionals Facebook group. And Sarah was actually on the show this week. So I haven't got to watch the replay yet. Things have been a bit crazy since Wednesday, but she said it went really well, Cannon. So I appreciate you having her on and treating her like true fence fam. Appreciate that a lot. If you guys are looking for more educational content, more videos, check out Cannon and Dan's podcast. I like watching it when I'm not doing, training stuff. And it's a good show. I like it a lot. Two other fence guys just trying to put out fence content. Okay. All right. So Kenny's in Kansas to visit family. All right. Very good. He really enjoys the trainings. It's bummed we didn't get to do more hands-on. I agree. And I still feel like we filled the time pretty adequately. We found quite a lot to talk about. But you're right. Hands-on learning. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. We can sit and talk about theory and just ideas, that sort of thing. But the 30,000 foot view, right? But I learn best when I put my hands on it, actually go, oh, that's how it works. Or I get to see it, right? So see it and touch it. I think that makes it more real. So I agree. More hands-on will be great. Which leads me to talk about in the February State University in Nashville, Tennessee is actually now going to be 3 days. So we've added a day to that in the efforts of trying to cover more ground, right? Trying to get more time with you guys to ideally get more hands-on training. We spend a lot of time in the classroom, which is great. We need to do that, but also get you guys out in the field. So that's kind of one of the things. We had an impromptu wrap-up meeting last night over dinner, and that was one of the things we talked about was trying to find a foolproof place. I think we've got figured out here in Springfield where we could do 1 day of indoor training, 1 day of outdoor training, right? So maybe me, Matt, and Rachel talk about in the classroom it's not a classroom, in a conference room, talk about, business. Matt does a great job talking about business and teamwork and just culture in general. And then I'd spend a little bit of time talking about marketing and branding. So that all can be done inside, whether it's rain or shine, right? Also, Rachel from My Salesman gave a great presentation, not only on My Salesman, but in general, how it helps the sales process or how we can incorporate tools into our sales process to become more efficient, try to buy back some of our time. So all that can be done in the classroom. Then the second day, I think still got to talk to them. Out at the fairgrounds, they have a massive covered arena that in October typically isn't used. So we could build some fence sections in there. It'd still be covered. So if it's pouring rain, not really a big deal. And maybe get some fence on some stain. We could do that, or put some stain on some fence. In an outdoor scenario, but it's still covered to where, we're not worried about wind. We're not worried about rain. Anyway, making improvements. Can't wait to grow this thing and see where it goes next year. All right, Wednesday. My days are getting mixed up, Ken. I apologize. I know she had done that while we were at dinner, and I couldn't remember which day it was. Wednesdays it is, guys. The Dan and Ken show. My Fence Life. A heck of a good show. Oh, Sarah spilled the beans. I got to watch it now for sure. See what she spilled the beans on. She didn't tell me anything about spilling of beans. Ideal Fence says, had an awesome time learning from the rock stars in our industry. Highly recommend plugging into this event. Thank you for opening your doors and showing us the Ozark fence experience. You're very welcome. I mean, I couldn't be happier to host you guys here. I had a great time. It's funny, and we talked about this before. Talked about this a few weeks ago that often the teachers and the ones hosting events typically learn just as much as those coming in to learn and coming in to sit and talk about fence. I had a great time, and my team had a great time. So I talked with the team a little bit before I left to set up for the training event on Wednesday, and it sounds like everyone had a great time at the open house. Everybody learned a lot. So I thank you. I appreciate you guys showing up. All right. Where do we start? All right. Where do we start? So we talked about the event a little bit. Heck of a rainstorm in there. And so we stayed inside most of the time. I tell you what, the venue was incredible. We stayed on site with the exception of the Ozark Fence Open House. We did all the training on site there at the Doubletree Hilton. They had Doubletree by Hilton. I should start saying it's not Doubletree Hilton. Anyway, conference room, really nice. They had all the tables set up, had everything set up for where we could just show up and teach and learn. Had a projector system, so Rachel could give her presentation, as well as Caleb also gave his presentation on staining 101. And they served us lunch. We had sandwiches and chips each day and some pretty amazing cookies, if I do say so myself. The Doubletree team really took care of us. O'Reilly Hospitality runs that venue, and they really took care of us. I think you guys that showed up would agree. It was a really good time. It seems like each training is a little bit different, right? The venue's a little bit different. The crowd's a little bit different. I might be biased, but I like this one a whole lot. Now, it wasn't as large as some of the staining university groups out in Nashville, but a lot of times a smaller group, 20, 30 people, makes it easier to foster conversations as well. We took a little bit different approach to the scheduling of the event. So we had fewer speakers and more time in between speakers. So we would have half-hour breaks for just hit the restroom, grab you a drink, and sit and talk fence, right? So we could form small little groups of guys just chit-chatting and networking, and gals. And it was a little bit more laid back. It was a little bit less rushed, I think. And overall, it sounds like we've got good feedback on that. So me and Ashley and Caleb were talking last night about Stadium University in February. So I think you guys will see a little bit of that come through. Now, we've got a lot of ground to cover, right? The event in February, we are bringing in power washing group into it because that makes sense. A lot of the power washing guys stain fence. A lot of the guys that stain fence also power wash. Let's get these two groups together, right? So we're going to have more people. I think we're expecting, the royal we, right? Actually, it said that they were expecting something like 300 to 400 people at this event, which would be massive. I think last year's event Ashley would know the number better than I would, but I want to say it was something like 200 people were there. It was a big group. It really was. So to think about doubling that it makes you pause, makes you sit and think about that for sure. But so it's going to be 3 days. We're going to be talking about, again, all things fence staining, fence cleaning. I think Sean King had said that he'd like to come back again and do some fence building. That would be awesome. As a fence guy, I enjoy sitting and watching Sean give his presentations because you want to talk about a guy that's passionate about the fencing industry. Holy cow. And so Sean came up during the marketing and branding talk because if Sean does one thing really well, it's he communicates through the use of video, right? So any of you that follow really any of the fencing Facebook pages know all about Sean, know what he's about, know that he also sells tools that he uses in his day-to-day life to make his crews more efficient. And everyone knows Sean because he posts a bunch of video. He makes sure everyone knows exactly what he's doing at all times and also dropping tidbits and nuggets throughout the way. Just kind of explaining what he's up to and showing people how he does fence. And the one thing we try to talk about at these events is, this is how, no matter who's talking about what, this is how we do it, right? This is a process that works for me. It's got me to where I am today. It likely won't work for you in exactly the same way, but you can take little nuggets, little tidbits from each and every speaker and try to plug them into your business. They might need a little tweaking, but they should work, right? And if you plug them in and they do work, then your business becomes more efficient and more successful. And ultimately, that's the goal, right? So anyway, like I say, Sean, I believe Sean's planning on being at the February event. We're gonna have a lot of speakers, and we're gonna have a lot of ground to cover. So added the third day. So you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's gonna be one of those configurations. I know they gave out the dates, but as it gets closer, we'll probably do more lives with Caleb and the team and talk about exactly what the dates are in February and what to expect while we're there. I enjoy the heck out of the Nashville event. I one day hope to have events here in Springfield similar to the Nashville event because a lot of people show up, but more than that, it has massive impact, right? So typically there's at least a handful of people that, as we followed their journey after the event, really use this knowledge and plug it into their business and end up finding some pretty significant success. So that's always a fun time to watch growth that is a result of these training events. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about a success story, right? So we were in another place it rained, Richmond, Virginia. Gosh, that's been a couple months ago now, and we met Aaron and Sarah from Chattahoochee Stain. At the time, it was just Chattahoochee Stain there in Columbus, Georgia, right outside Fort Benning. And it was funny. The first day, Aaron and Sarah came up, said, "Hey, I just want to introduce you guys. I watch you here on YouTube and get a lot out of it. Just wanted to say hi." And I said, "Oh, that's great." He said, "Well," I said, "You guys build fence as well as stain, or just do the staining part?" He said, "Well, we used to do fence, but we're closing that down. Yeah, we're just going to do stain. Sarah and I are just going to be a two-person team. We're just going to stain a bunch of fence all around Columbus, Georgia. We've got a plan, and we're going to succeed." Oh, well, that sounds incredible. Well, that was at the beginning of day one. By the end of day two, Aaron had been so fired up, predominantly, mainly by Sean. Sean's energy is just incredibly effective at motivating people to get things done. And Aaron and Sarah over dinner were said, "All right, new plan. We're starting fencing back up. We're going to get a location. We're going in, and we're going to succeed on building fence." Within 48 hours of having this conversation about fencing's done, we're shutting that down. And sure enough, the next event we held, is that right? I believe so. I believe that was the event after Richmond was Columbus. It was their grand opening for Chattahoochee Fence. And I tell you what, it is so fun to watch that, right? It's fun to watch the energy and the motivation and watch someone take away tidbits from what they learn in these events, apply it to their business, and just start finding success around every corner. Sarah's true. This is a true story. This is exactly how it happened. But it was guys, if you met Aaron is all in all the time. So it was kind of funny to watch him go from all in on one direction. He's like, the next day, by the end of the next day, he's like, "All right, new plan, all in, building a fence company. It's going to rock. We're going to do it." Excellent. Yeah, you went the opposite way for sure, Sarah. But I mean, you want to talk about executing on what you learn. That was Aaron and Sarah had picked up a few tidbits from the event and said, "You know what? I bet if we arm ourselves with this information, with the processes from Sean, with things we talked about in branding and marketing, we can do fence and we can be the best at it." And they are absolutely executing on that plan. So anyway, I say all that to say it's really fun from my side to watch people take away from the event and then just start growing their business. Right now in this economy, businesses should be growing anyway, right? We are in the middle. What is it? We're 12 years into a 3-year economy or something like that. Because typically economies have ups and downs. Typically the ups last 3 or 4 years. This economy, I think, is that right? 12 years or so? Probably 09 to 21. I don't know. It's been a while. So yeah, we're a ways into a good economy, which which makes you a little bit nervous. So this is one thing we had talked about at the during one of kind of we call them roundtable discussions, but there wasn't a roundtable to be found in this place. So we kind of just had group discussions, where the presenters kind of sat in the crowd and we all just talked about, different ideas and different theories. One of the things that I enjoyed talking with Matt about in this group discussion was what we're doing to prepare for the question mark of the future, right? So I think it's naive to think this economy will always last, right? So we need to have a plan B. Now, we're going to hope like the Dickens that this economy lasts. I mean, I would love it if the music never stops, but eventually the music stops, right? So you've got to have a plan B. And maybe it's not, some massive event that the economy just really takes a hit and it's hard times for several years. Hopefully it's not that. Hopefully it's just a slowdown. But the thing is, what can you do to prepare yourself, to position yourself to succeed in a slow economy? It's something we actually spent a lot of time about that. Matt spent probably half an hour, 45 minutes talking about growth, how he views growth, and how he looks for the cues that his business is ready to grow. And he also probably one of the someone had come up and said, I didn't get any gold nuggets out of this. He said, I got boulders. I don't know why you call them nuggets because these things are going to change my business. So Matt was tossing around golden boulders. And one of them was the system he uses to test if his business is ready to grow in a certain direction. And once he said, I don't want to explain it because this is his to talk about, right? I would simply be parroting the information that he gave. I'd like to have Matt on. He and I talked about him coming on. And he said, well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't like doing a lot of live video, but I'd be happy to come on your channel. What I'm thinking is one day we just surprise him, send him a link, said, hey, click on this real quick. I got a question for you. Bring him on the show. Just shock him into it and see if he'll open up about this plan for growth. It's, I'll be having team meetings this week. So typically what my process is even after going and presenting at something like this, teaching at one of these events, I still plan a few days once I get back to meet with different people in the team and say, hey, here's some nuggets I found, and here's how I think we can implement them. How do you think we can implement them to get buy-in and just make sure I'm looking at things in the correct light, and then just start executing on the new gold nuggets to bring home. So I've got a few days planned. I've got a few people planned to talk to here at the business where I sit down and say, hey, and one of them is, Sarah and I are going to talk about this method of testing growth, because our current method is just to give it a try, see if it works. And if not, wrap it up, start something new, right? So, for instance, we last year and the year before, we did a lot of house cleaning. We did exterior house cleanings, roof washing, driveway, sidewalk, approach cleaning, the whole thing, along with fence cleaning and staining. My theory was, hey, if we've got this cleaning equipment that cleans fence really well, but it's also one component of the trailer is a soft wash system. So we could do house exteriors and roofs and concrete. We just need to get a concrete surface cleaner. I know where they sell those. We dove all in. I built a trailer out and we gave it a try. What we found was we were better fencers than we were house cleaners. And while the equipment is the same, the methodology is fairly different. So learn that lesson through buying a trailer. And I bought the trailer and I built it out because I saw how much fully kitted out trailers were going for, and I didn't feel like paying that. So I took probably a month of afternoons and weekends and just built a trailer. Unfortunately, now we've got a really built out trailer that is incredibly overkill for cleaning fences. We've kind of stepped away from the roof, house exterior, concrete washing package. Because what we came to find out is it's hard to explain why a fence company is doing that, right? So we started a separate company. We started Ozark Clean and Seal. Clean and Seal? Clean and Stain? Clean and Stain. I think that's right. I have to go check the van and see what's on the side of it. But we started a separate company so that we could try to better explain why we were there to also clean all parts of the exterior package of this home. And without, you would have to really run it as a separate business as far as marketing and branding. You need completely separate marketing campaigns. And there still wasn't a lot of great understanding as to what we're doing. Also, it didn't fit our business model as far as, covering the expense of our overhead and the labor that we would likely be putting into it. If we were to grow this and put in, on a fencing crew, we typically have a crew chief and 2 team members on each crew. Um, the market here just really wouldn't support the pricing needed to, run a crew that size. So we stepped away from it. Now, had we followed Matt's advice, we likely would have seen the writing on the wall a little bit sooner. Maybe before we built out this trailer. I bet someone asked what the cost of this trailer was, and I want to say I had to go look in QuickBooks as to true cost, but I want to say it's probably around $20,000-$30,000. By the time we bought the trailer, bought the equipment, try to account for my time on building that thing out, I bet it's 20,000-30,000. So we could have saved that money. We could have put it somewhere else and executed a different plan. So, yeah, something I learned from Matt. I got to sit and be the student of Matt as well. And again, I love sitting and being a student. So I sat and got to learn from Matt. And I hope everyone else that was there really got to soak in everything Matt was putting out. It was, even the side conversations. Matt's one of these guys. There's a group of guys in the fencing industry that are all kind of this way. You've got your Sean King, you've got your Matt, you've got your Mark Olson. When I'm around him, I get smarter. Sam Natello for website SEO. Caleb about all things staying and running a successful, manufacturing business. There's a group of guys where I just feel like when I'm in the room with them, I leave smarter. Not hard to do. I understand. But I leave smarter. I leave a better person for being in their presence. And I appreciate it when I can be in their presence for sure. All right, let's catch up with the comments. Nathan down. Speaking of somebody I need to get on the channel, I need to bring Nathan in. Nathan, I'm going to reach out to you and talk about an idea I've got. So Nathan and I have had conversations, at the AFA Midwest events and here on social media at FenceTech and such. I'd like to bring him on and talk about some of those things we've talked about. Anyway, the economy is crazy, massive bull, interesting times for sure. So that's the thing is it is. And if you take a too conservative approach, thinking, hey, I'm only going to prepare for a bleak future, you likely miss out on quite a bit of profits, right? So if you weren't willing to grow and scale right now, thinking, hey, I've got to stay small for when the lean times come, you wouldn't be taking advantage of the profits. Consider, 3-4 years ago, people were warning that, hey, this economy can't last, guys. We're really far into a really good economy. Start preparing for a slowdown. Well, if we started kind of sucking up and staying small 4 years ago, we wouldn't be in this building for sure, right? We wouldn't be where we are today if we hadn't taken risks, if we hadn't grown and scaled the business. So, that's something that weighs on my mind is, do we continue to grow and scale? Knowing that tomorrow, next week, some event could happen that slows our business down. I don't know. I think we're trying to take a measured approach to the future. I think we just brought in quite a lot of, we're in the process of bringing in quite a lot of material. We brought in a truckload of fittings, brought in a truckload of pipe, truckload tube or posts. We've got a truckload of wires showing up at some point. It might have shown up while I wasn't here. I actually didn't go walk the lot before I set all the YouTube stuff up. So it might be here already. I don't know. We will see. But yeah, so we're ordering in a bunch of inventory, thinking that, so we bought the inventory with profits. So it wasn't money that we had borrowed to buy, right? So we bought it with profits. And if it takes a year to sell, it takes a year to sell. One of the conversations actually that I had last night, or we had either yesterday or last, I think it was over dinner last night, was so what happens if the price of steel drops tomorrow? I think that's unlikely. But my point is, it's kind of like the price of fuel, so it's always ever up and to the right. Look at me doing that right. I'm doing it backwards, actually, but for you guys, that looks right. Now, it always ever goes up and to the right, which means it's always ever increasing the cost. Now, you can have it's never straight, right? You always have ups and downs, up and down, up and down. But on average, it always goes up and to the right. It always gets more expensive. So we bought so say we have a truckload of fittings. Say fittings got really cheap tomorrow. What would we do? What if they were significantly below what we bought them for, and we couldn't sell the ones we have and still make a tidy profit on them? Well, we'd buy more at the current price, right? So the example of tension bands came up, and random numbers, you know, say 8 tension bands $100, right? So in this theoretical explanation, it's $100. Say the price of tension bands went down to $60 tomorrow. Well, obviously, if I bought it for 100, I need to sell it for 2 and still make my 50% gross profit. 100% markup equals a 50% margin, right? So, well, obviously, you can't do that if the price goes down. Well, so I'd just buy more at 60. I'd sell those at 120 until the price came back up, and then I'd sell my ones that I bought at 100 for 200 or something to that effect, right? That's the theory, is that the price will come back. When I was a kid, when I first started driving, gas was about $99. Regular unleaded, 87 octane, all that was about 97 to 99 cents a gallon. It's under $1 a gallon. We'll go check out the pumps today. What are they? It's $3 a gallon, something like that. It's crazy. What I drive a diesel truck now, so I don't really follow the price of unleaded fuel. Actually, our entire fleet is diesel. So I was trying to think. We had sold our Ford Transit van that we were staining and sealing out of. Sold it. It was our only fuel vehicle, our unleaded fuel vehicle. The rest of them are diesel. Anyway, the point being, it was at 97 cents, went up to 99, maybe it came down to 96, then it went up to $1, then came down to 98, and then went to $1.10. The point being, it always goes up and to the right. So we brought on a bunch of material thinking that we've got a bunch to take advantage of if the price really spikes, which the majority of people in the industry that you talk to, pretty much everyone believes the price of steel and aluminum are going up. So we brought on a massive inventory of that. And if it gets cheap tomorrow, we've got room to buy some more tomorrow, and we'll just sell it until we can sell the stuff we've got. But I've got a sneaking suspicion that price is going up. Price always goes up. So, and if price goes up significantly, we could be sitting on a tidy profit just in fittings, tubing, post, and wire. So we'll see. If not, we'll go install it for somebody. That's for sure. David White from D&J Projects in Nottingham, England. Evening, Joe. How are we doing? David, we're doing very well. I hope you are doing well. Hope you are doing well as well. That didn't sound right. But no, I hope you guys are doing well. So if you guys remember, David and Stephen came on a few months ago, and we talked about Fencefam and Nottingham. Speaking of gasoline, in some of the recent episodes of D&J Projects, we've learned that the UK is going through some pretty significant fuel shortages. So I haven't seen it referenced again, David. I hope those are evening out. Why don't you let us know how is the fuel situation going on in the UK? David and Stevie also took a trip to Turkey. Now I want to go to Turkey because that place looked like an amazing vacation destination. David, hello and welcome. We're doing well, and I hope you are as well. Hope you're doing that well as well. Ashley Roth, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, Ashley. Let's see. You guys ought to be getting close to home, maybe, right? Are you home yet? Maybe you're almost home. Depends on when you left out, I'm sure. But no, Ashley and Caleb, I tell you what, if you haven't met these two and you have the opportunity to come in February, you should. These are two of the most humble people I've met, maybe ever. I mean, they run the stain steel experts. They manufacture stain. They manufacture a bunch of stain. But if you sit down and chat with them, it's like having a conversation with your neighbors, right? So Caleb's one of these guys. He's in the group of people that when I'm in their presence, I get better. Same thing with Ashley. You want to talk about operations, you want to talk about procedures, you sit down and chat with Ashley. And also, Ashley had mentioned before, and I hope it happened during the open house. I know my wife was here. It was kind of crazy during the open house. There's a lot of people here. I was pulled in a lot of different directions. But my wife was here with her kiddos, with our kiddos. And I saw her and Ashley talking a few times. I hope you guys got to talk about just basically being a spouse to someone in the fencing industry, because it's trying, right? It has to be trying. The hours are long, and we're often away from home more than we're at home. So I hope you guys got to meet each other and talk about being a spouse in the industry. Don Ba- Don Bidell. Don, I'm sorry. I should know how to pronounce your last name by now. I think it's Bidell. I think it is. Don Bidell. Hello from Tulsa. Welcome, Don. Welcome from Tulsa. Actually, there were several people from Tulsa down. It was a pretty good representation from Oklahoma. We had representation from, gosh, just a pretty wide range. So we had several guys down from Wisconsin. We had guys obviously from Oklahoma. We had a few from Indiana. Arkansas was there. Who am I missing? Tennessee was there. Atlanta was there. We had a gentleman, Kenny from Atlanta, came over. Different Kenny, but a Kenny from Atlanta was there. We had guys from all over the U.S. come over, and that blew me away for sure. So I was really happy that you guys took the time to come out. Don, hello in Tulsa. I actually love coming over to Tulsa. Tulsa's it's about 3 hours away, and it's right down the interstate. So we get to come over. We watch the Chili Bowl in January, and not at all what you think it is. It's actually sprint cars running around on an indoor racetrack. So why do they call it Chili Bowl? I actually don't know. Probably ought to figure that out. But something we go to every January and always have a really good time. David says, fuel's back to normal in the UK. Good deal. So one of the videos I watched was, and it's not funny, but it's Dave having to sit in a fuel line. And this fuel line wrapped all around this shopping center, this shopping complex. I mean, you weren't supposed to be getting fuel in fuel cans, jerry cans, but as we saw in the video, a few people were. So, but anyway, they started, maybe not rationing is the right term, but they started restricting fuel a little bit because they didn't have the fuel. But good to know, fuel's back to normal. Good deal. David, we've chatted a little bit. I need to follow back up with you guys because I know I'll just check and see if I had a message. Anyway, I know we had talked about having you guys back on. I'd like to chat with you guys about what you guys are seeing in your industry there in the UK. It seems like our economy, the U.S. economy, follows kind of the European economy somewhat. Now we are all independent economies, but it's interesting to hear how things are going elsewhere in the world. I mean, anymore we're a world economy. Right. So we're still feeling the effects of the China tariffs and all that. We still have, massive container ships sitting off the coast that has goods in it that are rotting or rusting or wasting away because of international politics. One person's belief. Right. So I don't know. One fence guy's belief is I think that's what this is international politics, right, wrong, or indifferent, is leading to a lot of this shortage. There was a report out. When did I read this? A couple weeks ago. It was on the internet, so it had to be true. That a large portion of the chips waiting for the automotive industry are sitting in containers off the coast, waiting for tariffs to come down on like electronics and semiconductors and that sort of thing. So it's kind of like maybe at a protest, or maybe they're just saying, hey, we can't afford to send them in right now. If you lowered those tariffs, we'd sure be willing to send them in. So international politics is affecting us, which is crazy that I forget if we had this conversation on here or if I've had this conversation with others in person, but it's crazy that international politics and the international economy in general can affect a fence company in Springfield, Missouri. Right. It didn't used to be that way. I can tell you that. I think if my grandpa was still around and you asked him, how international politics with China ever affected his business, I'd say it's probably slim to none. Right. So you'd still see about it in the news. And it might not have been China at the time, might have been Russia or Vietnam or anywhere else. But politics rarely affected business here locally. I mean, we're small town Missouri. It's not like we're on the coast or we're on the cutting edge of anything here. But I think this is one of those times that teaches us that the economy is global. that we really rely on one another no matter where we are in the world, and that we can probably learn from one another, right? We could probably, what I'm thinking is, I think we could probably build a network of fencing professionals in various parts of the world, and maybe get some early indicators here and there of what might be coming to each other. So it might be that the US sees a steel shortage before the UK sees a steel shortage, or before Australia and New Zealand see a steel shortage. I don't know. We'll see. Something that's on my mind. So, yeah, what's on your guys' mind? If you guys have questions or comments or anything, leave them in the comments below. We've got some time here. We're about an hour in. We're 50 minutes in. We got another hour and a half, and we got plenty of time to talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. Another thing that's on my mind. Let me grab a drink real quick. Not a what do I say? Not a sponsorship. I just get thirsty. And my favorite cup is at home, because I wasn't thinking, guys. I thought I wasn't going to need it at the training event, so I left it at home, and I didn't even think about on Wednesday that I had a live Q&A coming up on Saturday. Should have thought about it. I know we do this every week now. I know we took about a month off for various reasons. We're back. I need to start planning for this. Roger says, in your grandfather's day, Pennsylvania made all the steel one could need. And that is absolutely true. I tell you, so back in the day, back in the 50s, Ozark Fence was founded because my grandfather's brother-in-law had a steel foundry. So we made a lot of our own stuff as far as, fitting. We didn't make our own wire. We didn't make any of that. But as far as fittings and caps and things like that, we absolutely made a lot of whatever we needed. We made a lot of our own tools. I wish I had that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they thought at the time they wouldn't need any of that. It's just junk tools or junk fittings or whatever the outcasts were, and tossed them. But boy, I'd love to have some of that today, which leads me to believe we probably ought to save some of our stuff today for our future generations. So I'm going to start squirreling away fence signs in like random places of this building. Make it like a scavenger hunt when Jackson grows up. If we're still in this building, where Dad hide fence signs and fence fittings, and because that's the thing, is something that we think is completely normal now. Who knows what it's going to look like 20 years from now? Jackson's 4, so 30 years from now he'll be roughly my age. He'll be roughly my age. 34 years from now he'll be my age. Wonder what things are going to look like. You know what I mean? How is the industry going to change? I don't know, but it'd be interesting to save like a time capsule. One of the for those of you that came and did the walkthrough, you saw it. We've got a newspaper clipping up on the wall down in the hallway from when we were remodeling the front offices. It was actually a news report from World War II. It was in the middle of World War II, and it was basically like a report home from the front lines. It's incredible. And so that also led me to believe we need to create some sort of time capsule here. Here's how we were building fence, and here's the fittings we were using. Ultimately, these YouTube videos are probably going to be a little bit like a time capsule. Maybe. I mean, who knows what technology is going to look like 30 years from now, but I hope, we save this to YouTube that's out in the ether somewhere, and you hope that your kids and your grandkids come back and watch this and maybe learn a little bit. If so, welcome. Hello. The year's 2021. Stevie Bahoy Billings, DJ Projects in the house. Good evening, Dave. That's right. DJ Projects is here. Glad to have you guys for sure. Evening, Stevie boy. Walt Dennis, what's up? Speaking of one of the legends that was in attendance at the training event, Walt Dennis. Walt, I believe, is actually touring Branson right now. Walt, how's Branson treating you guys? They'd come all the way up to Springfield. Now, we didn't get to utilize Walt to his fullest potential because Walt is a staining guru, as far as I'm concerned. Specifically, well, all things staining, but where I really like watching Walt's work is his overhead work. It is something to admire. I mean, when we're talking gazebos or covered porches or anything like that, I can't fathom the work this guy does. So, if you guys see Walt Dennis in the Facebook pages, you should pay attention. He's up to good stuff. Welcome, Walt Dennis. It's really good seeing you. I look forward to seeing you again in February. One thing that's on my mind, I forgot I need to stay close to this mic. One thing that's on my mind is we're going to start accepting cryptocurrency as a company. And I know what you're saying, Joe. What in the world is a construction company doing accepting cryptocurrency? I think that's where things are headed. I really do. Decentralized finance, DeFi is a big thing, especially as we're seeing inflation in the US dollar. I mean, that's part of why things are costing more right now, right? Inflation has to play a role in the cost of goods. You can't print money uncontrolled for a while and not have inflation. It's not possible. Even me as a fence guy, I understand that's not possible, right? So we're starting to see a lot of inflation in the US dollar. So this is me thinking maybe this is the future, right? So I think when credit cards came out, accepting credit cards was a bit of a novel concept. Credit cards was a novel concept, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? There were a lot of people that weren't accepting credit cards. Major companies were, but small contractors weren't accepting credit cards. There's small contractors that still don't accept credit cards because of the 3% fee. So I think crypto is the next version of credit cards. I understand crypto is not like credit cards. It's its own finance. What I'm saying is the implementation is a lot like credit cards. It's new and novel right now, but I think it's going to be normal day to day in the future. So we're going to hedge our bets against that, and we're going to start accepting cryptocurrency through a company called BitPay. So I've reached out to BitPay and we've talked back and forth. I'm going to get it set up for Ozark Fence first so I can get some experience on what the process is like. And then I'd like to bring them on just to talk about and explain why, contractors is my group of people, but how anyone or why anyone should accept cryptocurrency just like they accept checks, cash, and credit cards. Cryptocurrency actually in the exchange rate is actually, or the transaction fee is actually 1%. A lot of credit cards, and I understand depends who you use and who you process through, but they're usually 3%, right around 3%. Some are over, some are under, some are only 2%. I understand that. Now, some people, myself included, or us as Ozark Fence included, our processor actually charges the transaction fee to the client. We are allowed to here in Missouri. I understand there are other states out there that is illegal. They cannot charge their customers the transaction fees. That's fine. Roll it into your cost. I get it. But we use Job Nimbus as a CRM. We've gone over that before. Sarah and I are actually planning on doing more videos on Job Nimbus. So during the open house, we had several guys that we all sat down. Well, I say we all. They sat down with Sarah and Tucker and talked about Job Nimbus. And I learned that we have something to share as far as just how we run Job Nimbus. I kind of thought it was normal. Honestly, if we're being completely transparent, I thought we were underutilizing Job Nimbus. Not utilizing it to its full potential. But I think we sat and we talked about Job Nimbus and we learned that Job Nimbus doesn't have like a really good template to start fence guys off with. So we're planning on more videos on how we use Job Nimbus. I guess that was a crazy side note. Through Job Nimbus, we use WePay. WePay is by Chase, the financial company, best known for their credit cards, I guess. But Chase is also a payment processor. So they charge through WePay by Chase. When they run the transaction, they show and they tell the customer, they show exactly how much the transaction is going to be, but they roll it into the customer's charge. For example, if we charge $1,000, and I think their fee is a little bit less than 3%. But anyway, if we charge $1,000, we tell WePay, I need $1,000 for this deposit. WePay charges the client $1,000 plus 2.73% or whatever it is. So I get $1,000. We Ozark Fence get our $1,000. The customer pays $1,000 plus the convenience fee because that's what it is, right? It's a convenience to the client. I need to have Sean King back on because he has a great point or a great talking point when he says, accepting the convenience fee or charging a convenience fee and then paying it back to the processor impacts your books. And this is I hadn't thought about this till he said it, but so say it's $1,000 and we say, well, we're going to charge you $1,000 plus 3%. We accept all of that. And then we pay the processor the 3%. That 3% comes in, it shows as revenue, but it goes out immediately as an expense. It screws up your books a little bit. And depends on the scale, right? Depends how many transactions you process in a year, but that can be significant. It can skew your revenue numbers because I don't know. I want to say technically it's not revenue, right? So you're not actually selling them something, you're not actually giving them anything or providing a service. But the reason I pause is I guess technically the service is you're allowing them to pay you with a credit card, but it's not a service you're providing. So you're collecting money for someone else and then paying that someone else immediately without you having a part in it, right? So it's not technically your revenue. You're simply collecting the credit card processor's revenue and passing that through to them. It can impact your books. And I had never thought about that until I heard Sean mention it once, and then he and I had talked on it again in more depth, I believe in Columbus. And it makes a lot of sense. So anyway, we use WePay. They charge the client the 2.73%, whatever it is. Now, BitPay, my understanding, and this is why I want to run through it with Ozark Fence first before I report on this fully. But my understanding is they charge the consumer the convenience fee. Now, the thing about one of the hesitations about accepting cryptocurrency is it varies pretty drastically, right? So, depending on what cryptocurrency what coin they're wanting to pay with. Now, there are some that are more stable than others, so say a Bitcoin versus a Shiba Inu, right? So those are both two cryptocurrency coins. And Shiba Inu is very volatile right now, where Bitcoin is more stable. Now, nothing is ever actually stable, so it's still fluctuating. So how does it work? Right. So we don't actually accept the Bitcoin. So BitPay accepts the Bitcoins, transacts it instantly, and sends us the money. So just like we tell WePay, I need $1,000 for my deposit, we tell we tell WePay we need $1,000. We tell BitPay I need $1,000 for this transaction. It sends the customer an invoice, but it said, please choose how you're wanting to pay. They can choose Bitcoin. They can choose, I think it's up to 125 different currencies they can choose from. They choose one and it will give them a real time. It will take this many of those coins to pay this $1,000, 1.24, 1.23, 1.27, 1.21, fluctuating as the market fluctuates probably not real time, probably near real time. But it transacts instantly. It also charges the customer the 1% to process that. And then it pays Ozark Fence out in what they would call fiat currency, US dollars. Now, you can choose how you're paid out. One of the thoughts on this is that we take the majority, we take 95% in US dollars. And we can also select to take 5% in a cryptocurrency. I believe in this. I firmly believe Bitcoin is cryptocurrency in general, Bitcoin specifically, is here to stay. It's the way a lot of transactions are going. It's here to stay. So we're planning on taking 5% of those payments in Bitcoin. And we'll sit and just like if we were to convert some of our US dollars into pesos or yen or whatever, we would hold a certain percentage of our funds in cryptocurrency. And BitPay does that all automatically, and it transacts in near real time. You see it on now. Your bank still takes like 24 hours to process the deposit, right? So you would see it the next day. Similar to if you electronically process checks. If I process them, depends on the cutoff. If I process checks before 2 p.m., I see them that day. If it's after 2 p.m., I see them the next business day. It's fast enough. It doesn't need to be instant. But anyway, something that's on my mind, and it's something that we're looking into. So I'd reached out to BitPay last week. They had sent me an email during the training event to where they need a little bit more information to set up the account. Once we get it set up, I'd like to report back on my experience and probably bring bring someone in from BitPay for an interview on accepting cryptocurrency in the construction market. I think this is one of those things where we can be at least laying the foundation, at least laying the groundwork for our future, right? So we can set up the account. It doesn't cost anything to set up. My understanding currently is that it doesn't cost anything to set up the account, get it set up, get it linked with your bank accounts, set up how you want to get your payout, 95% in US dollars, 5% in Bitcoin or whatever it is we decide to do. Get all that set up and then just start marketing it. Hey, did you know you can pay Ozark Fence for your fence in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin? There's a lot of people. So Bitcoin right now, this morning, I think it was a little over $60,000 a coin. So $63,000. There's a lot of people that bought these coins, these Bitcoins at, a month and a half ago. I had to look at the charts again, but I think like a month and a half ago was like 40 some odd $1,000. So if you have one Bitcoin, you just realized $20,000. So you might want to pay for your $10,000 fence in some of your profit from this Bitcoin. Maybe. That's my thinking. Maybe it's a big thing. Maybe it's a flop. I don't know, but I'm going to bring you guys along for the journey anyway. I think it'd be interesting nonetheless. Walt says he's eating Grandma's Cafe. Grandma's Cafe is actually really good. It's there in Branson. So I hope you're having a good morning and a good meal. We typically enjoy eating there when we're in Branson. Stayman said, I learned there's a flipping Arkansas and Uranus, Missouri. Who comes up with these names? That's an excellent question. But I'll have you know, it's not flipping Arkansas, and there's no G on it. It's flipping Arkansas. Just to forewarn you. Yeah, those guys from Flipping are pretty cool. I like sitting and chatting with them. That's the other thing I really like about these events in general is I get to meet a lot of different people, a lot of good people. It's people in our industry, right? So it's like other versions of us from other parts of the country. And we get to sit and talk fence and fence stain and business in general. The guys from Flipping, I enjoyed talking with them a lot. Yeah, Uranus. So it's legitimately a town. It's called Uranus, Missouri. I'm probably going to regret saying this, but there is a candy factory in Uranus, Missouri, and they make fudge. You can actually, I'm going to say this because there's a billboard that says it on the way to St. Louis. It says, "Come visit the Uranus Fudge Factory." So that's Missouri for you folks. And well, Flippin's in Arkansas, but that is Missouri and Arkansas for you. Where's the next event? Happen to know the dates yet? It is in Nashville. Dates are, I bet I've got this in my calendar. Let's see. November, late November. Or February. I'm sorry. Excuse me. February. It is February 24th through the 26th, I believe. I don't think these are my travel dates. I think these are just fairly sure those are the actual dates of the event. 24th through 26th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Nashville, Tennessee. I'll hold off on saying the location. I believe it's probably the same location it's been other years, but I know we're planning on this thing doubling in size because we're bringing in a really large power wash group to try to combine forces, combine events. So this is the event that the organizer of this event is the same one that organized the Young Guns event in Atlanta that Caleb and I went and talked at. Amazing event. It really is. And it's an amazing group of people. It's another guy. Ron is a guy that's passionate about helping and educating and giving a hand up to younger guys and younger just in the terms of guys just starting out in the power washing industry. And he is passionate about this. His point, which is correct, is if you give the new guys the correct foundational knowledge, then you can build a better industry, right? So, this conversation happened a few weeks ago. There's a comment. I had shared the training event over on Ozark Fence's page, just telling the local folks that, hey, If you're interested in fencing and fence staining, running a bit contracting business in general, come on out. The training's free. And one person had said, and I'm going to paraphrase, but basically that he was absolutely against free training events and felt that they shouldn't be free and people should not be putting on free events. And so I had kind of made a comment back, and then he explained his stance that he's like, listen, I have worked all these years learning all this. Why would I want someone to come in for free and get all this knowledge that I had to work for? That I had to put blood, sweat, and tears, and I had to invest in my business to get this knowledge. Why should someone get this for free? And that's one way of thinking about it. The way I think about it is, can you imagine what our industry would look like if you, sir, didn't have to go through that? What would your business look like if you could have attended a free event 20 years ago that helps you avoid those pitfalls? I think our industry, both locally and nationally and internationally, because we share this stuff here on YouTube, goes all over the globe. I believe our industries, the fencing industry, the fence staining industry, would be better for it if these events had been more commonplace in the past, and they were just on a very local level, right? So because we didn't have technology where we could share ideas in near real time across the globe and tell everyone we're going to meet up in Springfield or meet up in Nashville. I think if this was more common 20 years ago, I really firmly believe our industries would be better for it. So why wait? Right. And the reasoning of, because I had to work for it, so they should have to work for it, doesn't fly. I really don't think so. I think that is narrow-minded and self-serving, right? So that's why we host the events, and that's why we host a lot of the events. So Standing University, when Caleb and Ashley and the team put them on, they were annual events in Nashville every year. Well, one thing they found is there's more people that either couldn't come to Nashville or couldn't make it in February. They wanted training too. They needed training too. They were looking for a hand up, a helping hand, whatever you want to call it. They're looking for knowledge and education, but they just couldn't make the event. So we started traveling. We started going to, like, the list goes on of the places we've been this year alone for these training events. Obviously, travel last year was a bit restricted. So this is really, I'd have to go back and look. I want to say this is really the first year of taking Standing University on the road to try to get it to more people in a place where they can, the more people where it is possible for them to get to. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Well, here's what I'm trying to say. At the Richmond event, we met guys that it just wasn't possible for them to get to Nashville in February. It just wouldn't have been possible. They're just starting out in the industry. They were local, or they lived an hour away in some cases. So the drive down, not a big deal. The hotel room was manageable. They could swing that, but either driving across the country to Nashville or trying to fly there wasn't an option. Those guys would, I don't know about never, but wouldn't have in the next few years been able to get to Nashville. So we go to them, because we're trying to make the biggest impact possible on the industry. Same thing with guys like Sean King. Sean King travels all over the country at all times to try to make the biggest impact possible. I don't know where I was going with that. That was a bit of a rabbit hole, but next event is in Nashville. The dates are, what'd I say? February 24th to 26th. Is that the one? Yep. That's what's in my calendar. We will confirm that with Caleb and Ashley. Probably have them on to talk about the event as it gets closer. Who's coming, who should attend, what they should expect, all that good stuff. Coming up, I would say probably in the next month or so. We all need to decompress from this event. I'm telling you guys, I have the utmost respect for Caleb and Ashley for putting on a 200-person event. Like I said, this event that we arranged was 20, 30 people. The first day actually was more. So there's some guys that can only make the first day. Maybe we call it 40 people. So that's my experience, is putting on an event for 20, 30, 40 people. They put them on for several hundred people. I have the utmost respect because I am absolutely worn out. And the venue did a lot of the heavy lifting too, about arranging the rooms, make sure the rooms were set and ready, made sure meals were showed up on time. So they actually took a lot of the heavy lifting too. So I can't imagine trying to put on an event at the scale that they do in Nashville for several hundred people. So anyway, I say all that to say we're going to decompress for a little bit and then regroup. We'll probably have a wrap up here on the show, maybe in the next couple of weeks, and just talk about what our ideas are for what the future of this training event looks like. It seems like every event there's a new iteration, right? There's some improvements that are made, just like in our business. As we learn things, we implement them and we grow. So it's interesting to see, and we'll talk about what those changes might look like in Nashville. Mark says, think you're onto something with cryptocurrency. With the new wealth for the younger bracket, can tap into a lot of liquidity. Absolutely. So liquidity is a great point. If you put money in the stock market and it's a Saturday, say at 11:15 Central Standard Time, you can't access that. You can't access that capital if you have it wrapped up in the stock market. Now you can try to sell those stocks Monday morning when the stock market opens. Same thing to some extent with putting money in the bank. Now you could certainly write a check, but you can't access that money when it's in a bank right now, right? But cryptocurrency, the markets are always open. I use a market called Coinbase. There are other markets, but there's Bittrex. There's other markets out there where you can trade cryptocurrency on and manage your cryptocurrency on. But yeah, so cryptocurrency is absolute liquidity. I mean, I can sell my positions right now in cryptocurrency and have the money ready to transfer. Depending on some coins transact faster than others, but within the hour, I could have my money out of cryptocurrency and ready to transfer it wherever else I'd like it to go. Now, the bad thing is you transfer it back into the financial system, everything slows down again, right? So if I transferred it to the bank, I had to wait for Monday for them to confirm it and it to be available to me. But if you keep your money on, the blockchain in cryptocurrency, then it's a lot more liquid. I could send it right now to anyone in the world and they would receive it, again, depending on the coin, within minutes, as they would see it land in their account. So I think it's where we're headed. And it might not be exactly where we're headed, but I think a version of it will be where we're headed. So, like I said, laying the foundation for future growth, and maybe take advantage of future potential or future. I don't know. So say there's a day where the U.S. dollar has so much inflationary pressure. I never get my hats right. Have you guys ever noticed that? And it freaking bugs me. I watch it in this monitor and that monitor, and anyway. Yeah. So say the U.S. dollar tanks. Inflation really takes off, runs rampant. You can move your money out of the U.S. dollar today into something on the blockchain, wherever you feel is necessary. I would probably actually spread it out. I think, let's see. So I don't know how to show you guys this without you seeing the stuff. So we're not going to actually show you guys, but I'm going to count. All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So right now I've got just kind of fun money account with across 14 coins, right? And talking about cryptocurrency is a whole discussion that will take quite a long time to have. And honestly, I should have an expert in that field on to have this discussion with, because I'm a fence guy that's watched some YouTube videos about cryptocurrency. So I'm not the authority on this. But anyway, I think, so again, in this example, inflation has taken off or whatever has happened. US dollar is really tanking. I could take our money out of US dollars and put it into cryptocurrency across 15, 20 coins so that I could spread the risk out on multiple coins and probably be okay. Right now, All right, so let's look at this again. So, say in the case of Bitcoin's the big one. It's the one everyone knows. There's also Ethereum and Cardano, but Bitcoin's the one where if you say it, people know it. So, in the last month, it's up 48%. Last year, 353%. Since the beginning, up 58,000%. But for the week, down 0.04%. For the day, down 1.5%. So it fluctuates, right? So you wouldn't want to put all your money in one coin. You don't want to put all your eggs in the baskets. So you spread it out. Overall, overall for the week, we're up, even though Bitcoin for the week is down. So that's likely what I would be prepared for. Is I'd have the accounts open and ready and have in cryptocurrency, it's not accounts, it's wallets. So you don't have a Bitcoin account, you have a Bitcoin wallet. So I'd have the wallet set up, ready to go to accept, any sort of money I needed to transfer out. And that's part of my plan, right? For the future. Now, is that where we end up 30 years from now? I don't know. But we're laying foundation now for the what ifs of the future. Mark is here from WDE Fence in Huntsville, Alabama. Welcome, Mark. I bet it's nice down there. It's kind of cool and rainy up here in Southwest Missouri, and I'm not loving it. Nate says the best fudge comes from Uranus. Okay. Definitely a spot to stop when heading up or down I-44. It's certainly good to take pictures of. And actually, Candy's actually pretty good. So we do stop there with the kids if we're going up to St. Louis or coming back. Usually we're going up to St. Louis. Coming back, the kids are already jacked up and they don't need more sugar in their life. So usually we use that 3-hour drive home as like a detox period. Just let them calm down and chill out in the back of the vehicle and just no sugar ingested at that point. It's all water. Candace says, "Hi, Joe. Hope training went well." It went very well. I couldn't have been happier with how it went, with where it went. It was at the same place. It didn't go anywhere with how it went. So we actually, so my cousin Josh was our videographer for the open house and both days of training. I think we got some good stuff. So we're going to kind of combine all that footage and kind of create montage videos maybe or flashback videos and little snippets of educational content that came out during the event. We'll probably post it, some of it on this YouTube channel, as maybe in the form of in the hot take section, maybe, or more likely probably over on the Joe Everest, the Fence Expert Facebook page, which is facebook.com/the real Joe Everest, because there are apparently several Joe Everest out there in YouTube land. There are 4 of you currently watching from Facebook. Did I say YouTube land? Well, there's probably Joe Everest in YouTube land too, but on Facebook, there's several Joe Everest. Only one of them that's me. Actually, technically, there's 2 of them that's me. One's my personal page. One's my public page. I'm sorry, but if we haven't met and I don't know you, you're not coming in the personal page because my family's there. My kids are there. You're probably a great person. But if I don't know you, we haven't met, public page it is. Facebook.com/the real Joe Everest is where some of that content will be going. Also going to share it over with Caleb and Ashley, and that way they can use it on the Standing University page. I think we went into a lot of great detail. I felt like we had more time to also expand on the answers to questions. So a lot of times questions would spark a whole new thought that took 15, 20 minutes to fully flesh out. But at the end of that 15, 20 minutes, we were all better for it. So specifically with Matt's talk on yesterday, just about, so Matt has a great talk about the importance of time and making every minute count. And then he went on to talk about business growth and how to know how to grow and kind of what his plans of growth are. So I say all that to say we've got it all on video. So I haven't reviewed it yet, but I'm sure it's fine. So we'll start putting out little snippets. We also had some folks that had come forward and felt felt comfortable giving reviews or their feedback on the event. We'll probably share that with you guys as well. So the reason we did that was at the end of these events, there's always 2 or 3 or 4 guys that come up and shake our hands and say, "Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. My business will be better because I took the time to hang out with you guys." And I didn't expect it. It was a free event. I kind of just expected to show up and maybe meet some people, but I actually learned quite a bit. So part of the video testimonials, if you will, is us trying to share that at scale, and it's not me telling you that, right? It's the actual person who had the experience that left with these golden nuggets or boulders or whatever you want to call them. It's actually them telling it to you guys. So, and that's literally all we asked for. I said, "Hey guys, we've got at the end of the event, we've got a camera set up with a microphone. I'd love for you to say a sentence, a thought on the event and what you came up with it. I only want honest feedback. And if you come up here and you tell us we suck, okay, good to know." So, anyway, we'll be putting that together probably in the coming weeks, I would bet, and share it with you guys. JJ says, "Very cool and wet up here in Northeast Ohio." I bet that's right. I guarantee that's right. So when I say cool, I have to look at the weather. I want to say upper 50s, low 60s, which is we've got family pictures in, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours. It's going to be a little chilly, but you got to do them. We were supposed to do them last week, and last Saturday it rained like crazy all day long. Family pictures didn't happen. So when I say cool, I mean probably upper 50s. We'll see, which means it's probably even cooler there in Northeast Ohio. Roger says there's only one real Joe Everest. Valid point. Valid point. The others are just other Joes, right? No, I'm sure they're up to good stuff. I don't know them. How crazy would it be for me to have another Joe Everest on the YouTube channel? I don't know. It'd be funny for probably about 5 minutes. Chris Steele says, "What up, Joe?" What up, Chris? How are you, buddy? Chris is down in the southern region where the weather's nice, probably building fence or thinking about building fence today. Welcome, Chris. It's good to see you. Matt Warner's in the house. Hello, my friends. Matt, hello. I meant it when I say it. I always love being a student of yours. I love being in the same room as you because I always walk away smarter. Again, for me, doesn't take much. Just takes a little bit. Walk away a little bit smarter. I told it to you. We were texting last night, and I told it to you, but I'll say it publicly. I really appreciate your time and dedication. I really do. And that goes for Matt and Rachel and Caleb and Ashley and Kenny and Walt to help put this thing together, and all of the participants that took time out of their business to come to little old Springfield, Missouri, and learn about fence. That means a lot. I mean, I know there are more productive things that could be done, but I think us taking time and working on ourselves and working on our businesses is ultimately an incredible investment. If you're not going to invest in yourself, then who, right? Who will? It's up to you. So, and I say that to everyone, right? So I can't speak for anyone else, any of the other presenters, but I feel like when I go to these events, like I said it before, I walk away with golden nuggets, even if I wasn't there as an attendee. I still love sitting in the crowd and taking the notes, emailing the team, saying, "Hey, this is something we need to work on. I just learned about this. We need to execute on that." Yeah. So, Matt, welcome and thank you. Chris says, "A guy came in my office this week. He used to buy materials from you up there. Small world. Very cool. Who was it?" So he used to buy from us up here. So maybe move down there to the land of sunshine, huh? Maybe. That's probably not a bad idea, honestly, except for in the summer. From what I've heard, it gets awful hot, humid down there in Florida. So I don't know. But everybody seems to be going down there. You're down there. Mark Olson's down there. Everybody's down in Florida right now. So maybe we're missing out. I don't know. But yeah, very cool. All right. Again, not a sponsorship. Just got a little thirsty. And I forgot my favorite cup at home. All right, what do you guys want to talk about? Give me some subject matter, and we'll jam on it for a little bit. Yeah, he moved down here. I'll find out his name. A little warm in the summer. Boy, that's the truth. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever visited Florida in the summer. I'm trying to think back. I don't think so. It's always been spring or fall. Probably for a good reason. I hear the horror stories, and now I see people's videos. I don't think I want to be there in the summer. And listen, I talked to Sam about Sam Natello's down in where is he? Not in Jupiter. Southern Florida. Dennis? Nope. Lost it. Anyway, Southern Florida. So, and he was trying to tell me, he's like, you know what? It's not that bad. You just get up in the morning and you go for your runs, like before dawn, and then you stay in your house during the day. And if you want to get out of your house, you put on your swimsuit, you run out to your pool real quick, and you get in your pool. And it's really not that bad. But what about those of us who aren't Google all-stars and SEO rock stars and website extraordinaires? What about those of us that go build fence? I use the royal us in this. Unfortunately, I'm not out in the field nearly as much. My waistline will prove that. And some of the comments have brought that up. Absolutely correct. I don't build fence that much anymore because I hire people better than me at building fence. Could I go build a fence? Yep. Did it, I don't know, month and a half ago. All of our crews are tied up, had an emergency repair for it, and it was like 12 foot of 6 foot privacy fence. What happened was there's a roll-off trash dumpster backed up to this privacy fence. Somebody set the thing on fire, and it burnt the fence. So steel posts were fine. So he called me and said, hey, I need this done today. It was they do auto body work. So they had a bunch of cars in the back, and this is through his side fence into the back. Anyway, had cars. He's worried about people cutting off catalytic converters, which is a massive thing right now. So need it done. So I was like, we got fence pickets and 2x4s ready to go. I've got an impact for the screws, and I've got a nails and hammers. Let's get this done. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have just screwed the whole thing up. I understand. I'm not getting into the nails versus screw debate right now. That's a whole bundle of wax and worms and everything. Anyway, grabbed all the necessary material, went out there, put it up, and it worked. It functioned. The customer thought it looked fine. I knew different. So I scheduled our wood guys to go back out there, fix it. I said, yay. It functioned. It kept the unsavories out as much as could be expected. So can I build fence? Yeah. I just hire guys that are a lot better at it than I am to actually go do it. And I do other stuff. I do our branding and marketing here. Right? I also do accounts receivable and payable. And I told Caleb the other day, I'm the head firefighter. Really what it feels like, especially on Mondays. So I try to hire people that are better at me at any given task. So anyway, don't know where I was going with that. Oh, okay. I just said he's in Naples, Florida, Southern Florida, hot Florida. Like I think that's really all of it, but hot Florida. Yeah, summers there would be just. I would have to think they'd be pretty brutal. So, I mean, summers here are no cakewalk. Summers here are 90 to 100, and we've got quite a bit of humidity. So maybe it's the same. I don't know. Florida does sound nice, except for your real estate market, right? Everyone's real estate market right now is nuts. So there'd be no way we go buy a place in Florida anyway. Plus, it's our family place, right? It's my grandpa's company, and we're staying in Missouri. Anyway, don't know if you covered this yet, but have you heard of multiple vendors starting surcharges on materials already ordered? With it being a copycat world, I'm afraid of the impact we'll see in 2022. Well, yeah. So starting surcharges on materials already ordered. Yeah. So 2 of our vendors charge us basically the current rate the day they deliver it. So we might order, if we have most of what we need right now on the lot thanks to this bulk order, but prior to that, if we needed, whatever we needed on the weekly truck, we'd order that on a Monday or a Tuesday. Truck delivers on Thursday. We wouldn't know what we actually paid for these things until Thursday evening or Friday when they send the invoice over. A little bit nerve wracking. I mean, they could give us a price when we order it, but it wouldn't be the price that we actually pay for it. So I don't know about surcharges. So typically what they would say is, you know, I don't have any of the confirmations with me, but they would send a confirmation for it, but it wouldn't have pricing on it. It'd be basically like a shipping slip, a bill of lading. So it'd show quantities of X things ordered. It'd confirm, hey, you ordered this and this and this and this in this quantity, but it wouldn't have a price. You wouldn't get the actual invoice with the pricing until either the night of the delivery. So if it got delivered Thursday morning, you'd get it Thursday evening, or more likely Friday morning. So not really putting surcharges on it, but they just wouldn't tell us what it cost, what the final cost was until it actually hit the lot. Little bit nerve wracking for sure, which is part of the reason for us ordering these truckload quantities is now we know we have some stability in our pricing for the next little bit, and actually should last us a few months. So we'll see. That's our way of trying to buy some stability is invest in large quantities of inventory and buy some stability until we have to place another order. Paul, man, I'm not even, out of respect for you, Paul, I'm not even going to try this last name. I'm not. It's Italian, and Italian last names, I end up messing them up. So hello, Paul. Paul says, Paul in New York, when putting a fence post in the ground, I've seen where the sleeves for the post have been buried in the ground and the sleeves are just ground level over the post. Okay. A reread for comprehension. A comprehension first pass isn't the highest. When putting a fence post in the ground, I've seen where the sleeves for the post have been buried in the ground and the sleeves were just at ground level over the post. So maybe this is like a 4x4 wood post. So when you say post sleeves, my mind goes to the post saver, which is an exterior sleeve that goes over a wooden 4x4 post. Heat is applied. It then shrinks. The outer coating shrinks onto the post. Also, the inside is filled with bitumen. Bitumen? I think that's the right word. Which liquefies to some extent and bonds this sleeve. So think shrink wrap. It shrinks and sucks onto this post, and the bitumen bonds it, creates a seal between the sleeve and the post. The post extends below grade, below the aerobic zone where rot occurs. So, fence guy, not scientist, but rot is actually organics in the soil in the aerobic zone, using the wood and the fiber as a food source to grow. That is typically what presents as rot, is my understanding. So the post saver goes below the aerobic zone, and in this case, it extends above the ground so that if dirt gets, we've seen in a rainstorm, right? Dirt gets splashed up on the fence. If that happens, there's still some protection above grade on that post. Now, in your question, it said the sleeves were just at ground level, so you'd want to see them above ground level. If this is at all what we're talking about, that's where my mind goes when we say post sleeves. So typically it extends below grade, below the aerobic zone, but it actually extends above grade. I don't have. Hold one. I might have one here. Do not have one here. I thought so. I talked to Al Martin with Post Saver, Post Saver and Fence Armor. I talked to him probably a few months ago, and he had sent one just so that I could have one to have and hold when we're having the conversation. I'm guessing it's down in my office because we're getting ready to place an order for those as well to use them on our improved version. So we have, what do we call it? Sarah would know better than I would, but we have like a standard, an improved, and a lifetime versions or levels of wood fencing. The standard, the entry level, is going to be treated pine, pickets, rails, and posts. For a very long time, we have been very against using wood post, steel posts only. We like using the Postmasters. There are several posts out there besides Postmasters. We like the Postmasters. Anyway, we are only Postmaster, only steel post. Wood post, not in our repertoire. Recently, since the price has come back down on wood post, back down to somewhat normal, we started introducing them again. So the entry level is a pine picket, rail, and post. The improved is cedar picket, pine, rail, and post. So a little bit nicer look from the outside, still with the cost savings of treated pine on the structure. And then the lifetime is going to be the Postmaster steel posts, cedar rails, cedar pickets. During the off season, which we're coming into, we also offer a free upgrade to pre-stained cedar material. So all those can be pre-stained in whatever the customer's favorite color is. I say all that to say the post saver sleeve is actually going to be standard on our improved version. So we would pre-install these post saver sleeves on the wood post before they go in the ground for the improved version, because as the name implies, it is an improved version of the fence. The number one reason wood posts or wood fences are replaced is post rot, which is why we moved to steel post, because post failure on steel post is obviously significantly less. It's not going to rot, and it's lifetime rated against rust and corrosion, so it's a better product. I believe a improved version of a 4x4 wood post, in this case treated pine, but it also goes for cedar, redwood, etc., would be a post with the post saver on it, so that again it resists rot. So now we've taken rot out of the equation. I believe they're warranted for like 20 or 25 years. We've taken rot out of the equation. So again, approved version of it. That's what I was thinking you said you meant by post sleeve. If I'm completely off, let me know and we'll go down that rabbit hole. Not a sponsorship, just got thirsty. I'm trying to hold it in such a way where it doesn't show up. You guys know what it is, whatever. I guess we could be like those shows that take black electric tape and tape over the logo, like no one knows what it is, right? Or my favorite, I'll get to this question in a second, but my favorite is when they use a laptop, and on the back of it, it has a fruit, but it is not an apple. It is, say, a pear with a bite taken out of it. Like, oh, okay. So you didn't want to give the props to Apple, but you wanted people to know that you were using an Apple-like laptop, I suppose. I don't know. Anyway, so what's your advice on training a new salesman? What program do you use for Takeoff? We have purchased CFS, but have not set apart the time to set it up. So we don't use CFS. I'm not going to get in. Anyway, we don't use CFS. I understand CFS is coming out with a new online software. I'd be interested to see what it's like when it comes out. Actually, I think they had said it's only going to be Chainlink anyway, which, I mean, for companies that only ever do Chainlink, I'm sure it'll be great. But for companies that specialize in several different disciplines of fencing, you'd have to wait till those come out. Full transparency, we do use CFS Steel for our product catalogs. It's got a good catalog for like retail sales, wholesale sales. You get it. Retail sales. We're selling material. It makes a nice product catalog, so we still use that. We do not pay the twice a year upgrade fees that they charge. So, I don't know. I'll say it. So we bought the software. We bought the software for a significant amount of money. It was an investment for sure. But to say, and so I think it came with free upgrades for the first 2 years. And then from there, you have to pay twice a year to keep your software current, which in today's age makes absolutely no sense. And in the features that were the reason we didn't pay for it is the features that were being upgraded didn't affect our business. It was a vinyl gate shop drawing or something like that. And we don't do vinyl fence. So vinyl gate shop drawings, we don't need them. I don't need to pay whatever the upgrade fee is to say it's current. The problem is when you don't pay the upgrade fee, they shut off the quick draw feature. So, and they say, well, you can still enter in the quantities and it'll still create a proposal, I suppose. But the quick draw is the feature that we're interested in with CFS. And so when you take it away, because we won't pay another couple $1,000s a year, and it's not a couple $1,000s a year. I think it's $600 or $700 an update. So $1,200 to $1,400 a year. Could we pay it? Yes, but we paid a lot of money for this software to begin with, and so then to have to keep paying it didn't sit well. So anyway, we use Job Nimbus for quotes. We can do project takeoff. Well, not project takeoffs. We do project takeoffs by hand. So we would draw it out, figure out. I mean, Chris, so this will make more sense to you. So we'll figure out just how many sections we have, right? And we know one section is 3 2x4s, 17 pickets, 18 if we're using postmaster posts, and a post, right? First section is 2 posts. Every section thereafter is 1 post. We enter it all in Job Nimbus. Job Nimbus has a very nice presentation, so we go with that. Your main question, advice on training new salesmen. I'm not the best person to ask. So really what I did was, so when Sarah came on, she shadowed me for like 2 months, and we sat down so we would go out on estimates. This is back before we had modified our system where we don't go on estimates anymore. I would take her with me on estimates. We would do the walk around, the measuring. She would take the field notes. Then that afternoon we'd sit in my office and I'd say, okay, well, actually this is back when we were next door. So it was all one office, but she would come sit at my desk and I would say, here's how I do it. I draw it out. All right. I have this many sections. That means I need this many pickets and this many posts, this many rails, this much concrete, etc., and plug it all in. Right. So, and then that happened for probably a couple of weeks. She caught on to it very quickly. And then from there, we spent about a month and a half of her providing all the takeoffs and all that, and started letting her run the appointments. I just basically tagged along, moral support, made sure, if there were any questions she wasn't comfortable answering, that I was there to answer them. And then I took off the training wheels and let her go. And she hasn't looked back since. That's my version. Now, it's not systematized. There isn't an SOP for fencing sales at Ozark Fence. Yeah. So should we have one? Probably. Do we have one? Not yet. So that's actually something I want to bring a speaker on, or I want to bring a guest on, because he and I have talked about bringing on salespeople. I've heard his philosophy. I think it's a good one. I think it makes a lot of sense. So look for that in an upcoming episode. Let's say that. I don't have a good process for it. I don't. Program for takeoffs. I take them off by hand. I know if we have 10 sections, I need 32 befores. I need 170 pickets. We usually add 5% for coals. And, so my full process is I do it on graph paper. 1 square equals 1 section. So it's as simple as counting all your posts, counting all your sections, do the takeoff by hand, enter them into Job Nimbus. Job Nimbus keeps, it has the template where it has every item that you need to build a fence down to frame nails and finish nails, how many screws you need for, your hinges, everything. And then you basically just enter in all the information. We have usually a description next to the item, 2x4s, parentheses, 3 per section. Pickets, parentheses, 17 per section, +1 for postmaster post. And that's our process. It honestly could probably be better. And I absolutely get that. It works for us. As we grow, we're going to have to figure this out, though. And now is probably the time, before we need to grow, to figure that out. As we're having this conversation right this second, I'm thinking about things to talk to Sarah about on Monday. Winter, we're coming into winter, right? We're coming into our off season. Caleb and I had this conversation, I believe, here on the live, that winter is a great time to figure out your process. It's a great time to start a business. Now, not a great time for cash flow. Cash flow is tight in the winter, but you also have more free time than you do in the spring and the summer. Spring and summer, You're making hay when the sun shines. So you're not stopping to sit down and write out your process or your SOP, standard operating procedures, unless it's midnight and you can't sleep and it's at the kitchen table. Not the best time to be doing that. So we're coming up on winter. We're coming up on the fall. Theoretically, it's going to slow down at some point. So now would probably be the good time to start documenting the process, refining the process, and so that when we do want to bring on a client experience rep. So I don't like calling them sales rep. I don't want to sell anything. I don't. I want to provide education. I want to provide a proposal. If the customer feels that the product that we're offering meets what they want, then they'll accept. I'm not. I think that's a whole other conversation. I think we should get away from trying to sell fence. You know, I'll give you education. I'll give you a price on it. I'm not here to sell it to you. If you want it, if you want to buy it from me, I would love to build it. But that's kind of the breaks, right? That's the end of it. I'm not going to sit in your living room and tell you I'm not leaving until I get a signed document. I'm not going to say this price is good for today, but if I leave, you know, my boss is probably going to have to raise the price because the price of materials are raising every day. That doesn't feel right. It really doesn't. If I was on the other side of that table, I would understand exactly what that is. You want me to buy today before I get a chance to sit and think about it, before I get a chance to second guess, before I get a chance to do some research and come up with my own conclusion. You want this contract signed. And I'm not for that. I would rather do my own research. I'd rather come to my own conclusions. And if I'm comfortable with your business and the scope of work and the materials you're providing, I'd love to hire you. But I'm not here to be sold. I don't want to. So, and maybe I'm unique. I don't know. But I always put myself in the seat on the other side of the table, and I think, does it feel weird? If it feels weird, I don't want to do it. Angel says, Joe, I have a raw cedar log post. Is there a metal strap that is attractive to attach cattle panels? Not that I've seen. So raw cedar log post sounds beautiful. Is there a metal strap that is attractive to attach cattle panels? I really, not that I've seen. Guys, if you know of an attractive metal strap to attach a cattle panel to a cedar post or a wood post in general, drop it in the chat. Let's all learn this thing together. I've only seen it attached with steeples. You know, thick. Grandpa called them steeples. What do you? I don't. Is that actually what they're called? I don't know. I just call them steeples. So they look like nails, but that have been driven into a U, and then hammered into the post. That's how we used to attach like barbed wire to wood post. Not attractive. So I understand that's not what you're asking, but that's the only way I've seen metal panels like cattle panels attached to wood post. It probably is. There probably is one. I just don't I don't know. If you got, but like I said, the chat, this group, looking at the chat, there's a lot of good fence guys in this room right now. There probably is the solution. So if you guys know the solution, drop it in the comments for Angel. Tag Angel at Angel A, so make sure they see it. And let's all learn together. Home Guard goes hard. I love that name. Hi from Texas. Hello, Texas. Do you have any more marketing ideas that can get us some new customers throughout the winter? Yeah. All right. So start doing videos today, tomorrow, yesterday. That's where it starts, right? Start doing videos. And videos can be project walkthroughs. So assuming you're doing work right now, you've got projects right now, you're doing the project walk around. So at the end of the project, you do a walk around, make sure all the dirt and rock are picked up, make sure you didn't miss any nails, make sure the gate works correctly, free and clear, works correctly. You're doing that anyway. You've got a phone with you, smartphone, does Facebook Live. Start doing lives from your business Facebook page. The live would look something like, and so one aspect of this we talked about a bit that 2 days ago. No, I talked yesterday. Yesterday was that. So say you're not comfortable being on camera. I get that. That's fine. This isn't comfortable. Like literally, I'm sitting in a dark room. Like there's lights right here, but the rest of this room is dark, and I'm talking to a camera. You know, anybody walks in, this looks crazy, right? So Not super comfortable anyway, but just getting started, it is very uncomfortable to walk around talking to a phone. Like that feels weird. Hey guys, Joe with Ozark Fence. Feels weird. I get it. So flip the camera around. Use your back camera. Walk around, film the fence. Not gonna feel as awkward. It looks a little bit more normal, right? That you're just documenting your process. Hey guys, Joe with Ozark Fence. I'm here. Now, if there's one thing that Sam taught us, is that SEO is everything, right? The terms you use are everything. Further, there's an algorithm. So if you guys are watching this, let's see. So 10 of you are in here, 2 of you are on Facebook. So on Facebook, YouTube, I think you can check this option. Facebook, I believe, does it automatically, generates captions. So as I'm talking, it's transcribing what I'm saying and dropping it below, which tells me it's listening. Has to, right? To transcribe this. And it's documenting what I say, which now becomes searchable because this video is searchable. So the words you say are important. Let's think about this. What search terms do we want people to use to find us? So again, camera in hand. Hey guys, Joe Everett, camera's facing my fence sign, right? That's a good place to start. My fence sign on the fence. Hey guys, Joe Everest, Ozark Fence. I'm out here in Republic. We just wrapped up a beautiful 6-foot tall privacy fence. Now, this particular privacy fence, we use cedar materials on steel posts. You guys watch the channel, already know I go on about this. The steel posts have a lifetime warranty. It's something I'm crazy about. Here's what we're doing. What I'm going to start doing is on these projects, I'm going to take you around for the walkthrough. Now, one thing I look for is some things I look for are missing nails, rocks, dirt, etc. Basically, anything that makes this fence look unappealing. I'm also going to come over to the gate. I'm going to make sure it opens and closes securely, that it can open and swing free and clear. That's not rubbing on anything. I want the gate to work perfectly every time. That's what I'm looking for. If you guys think that I miss anything, if I don't see something, could you help me? Could you drop that in the comments below? Also, if you think of anything I'm not including in my walkthrough list, I would appreciate it if you drop that so we can all get better together. All right, here we go. And you take them around. Now, this is not a unique idea. John Bowdy over at Stony Creek Fence does it a lot, and does it very well. It's actually exactly where I got this idea. I saw him do that, and I thought, that is absolutely correct. This is a great video. It's an easy video for anyone to do. You're there anyway. Document the process. Bring your clients in on this walkthrough because it does several things. One, you're using the right words. Republic, Missouri is a town that we love working in, a city we love working in. Privacy fence is a fence that we love installing. Cedar materials, we love using them. Steel post, I love using steel posts. I'm including each of those in the very first, the first 15 seconds of this video so that they show up in search. And then I'm just documenting the process. So anyway, so it does that. It also shows future clients, hey, this guy does a walkthrough on every project. So no matter who's coming out here to build the fence, Joe or Sarah or Tucker or whoever's doing these videos are going to come out here and they're going to walk this thing to make sure it's right. And I now have a list of things I know they're looking for. So if I'm worried, if one of the concerns I have about having a fence built is that dirt and rocks are left behind, well, guess what? I know Joe at Ozark Fence looks for that, and he makes sure there's no dirt and rocks on the projects when he does the walkthrough. I know that. Now I know that Joe, if that is the most critical part of this project for me, is my yard aesthetics, I know I need to call Joe Ozark Fence because he looks for it on every single project. It's free. Facebook business accounts are absolutely free. You already have your phone, so I get it. We can argue that the phone isn't free. Okay. You're already paying for it, right? There's no additional cost to create this video. You can do it free. It's easy. You're already there. You don't have to be on camera, so it gets you comfortable with the process. That is what I would do if I needed my phone to ring tomorrow. That's what I would start doing. Also, Google AdWords so we hire a company that runs our Google AdWords because I tried it and I don't understand it. I really do understand Facebook advertising. I understand it really well. I understand YouTube fairly well. I don't understand Google. It's English and Spanish as far as or English and German as far as I'm concerned. But Google AdWords make the phone ring. They really do. People use Google. Google is an intent-based platform. So when people jump on Facebook, they don't jump on to find a fencing contractor, a plumbing contractor, an electrical contractor, right? They come on to see pictures of their friends, pictures of their friends' kids, pictures of their friends' pets. See what everyone's up to. That's what they want to see. And your video kind of pops up there along the way. They'll see it. Hopefully, they'll watch it. They'll store that around back in the back of their mind. They'll route around in their head for a little while. And maybe when they need a fence, they remember this guy called Joe Dozark Fence. Dude wears orange in every single one of his videos. That's got to be a thing. Is he an inmate? I don't know. Routes around the back of their mind, right? So when they do need a fence, or when more likely they're on Facebook seeing what their friends are up to, they see one of them ask about who does fence in Springfield or Republic. They say, hey, you should check out this guy's videos. Like, he does walkthroughs on every single one of them. You should check that guy out. Yeah. New customers throughout the winter. I think it's a great idea. Also, other videos you can do. Marcus Sheridan. Well, all right. I'm just going to type the name in the chat. Marcus Sheridan. Let me spell check this real quick, so I'm not leading you guys astray here. So Marcus wrote a book called They Ask You Answer. He has since published an updated book. He's an author on sales process, right? So our marketing process that drives sales. So his philosophy, which turned out to be absolutely right, is, all right, I'm gonna put this in chat. Sheridan. Yep. Okay. Name is in the chat. He is an author. Check him out. So Marcus Sheridan wrote a book, They Ask You Answer, and he was involved in a pool company, and during the housing crash, so of course pool business went from a year out to nothing almost overnight. So his theory was, if he posted videos answering his customers most frequently asked questions, those videos will probably get searched a lot. Turned out to be right. So what you can also do is take your top 10 questions that you get all the time that you're tired of answering. If you've got someone that answers a phone, what questions they're tired of answering on a daily basis, and you make a video. Hey guys, Joe Everest, Ozark Fence. Number one question we get on a regular basis is, what does a fence cost? And actually, we've got an online quote tool that does just that. It'll pull up a satellite image of your yard. You can draw the fence layout on that yard, choose the fence style and material, and it'll give you a budget on the spot for free. Now, it is a budget. It's not an exact price. To do that, we'll pull some additional maps to county assessors and such, have a phone call conversation, and send that proposal over to you the same day. Something like that, right? What does a fence cost? Do you guys build fence all winter? So we're coming in the wintertime. Question we get all the time. So the video is, hey guys, Joe Everest, Ozark Fence. Question we're getting a lot this time of year is, when do we stop building fence for the winter? Answer is, good news, we don't. So we've got bills all year long. This building costs money all year long. The electricity takes money to stay on. I wouldn't say takes money. It costs money to stay on all year long. Also, all of our team members have mortgages and rent. They got to pay all year. We build fence all through the wintertime. Now, start times might go to 8 instead of 7, and we might work a little bit later in the day just to try to get in the heat of the day. Of course, if I don't know, I would script this out, but of course, if we get snow and ice on the roads, we'll probably be taking the day off. But for the question, when you guys stop building fence for the winter, the answer is, good news, we don't. Anyway, Joe Everest, Ozark Fence. I'd love to build your fence. That's the video, right? So, series of videos like that would be a good idea. And door hangers. I mean, I understand some people don't feel that door hangers are effective. That's not been my experience. My experience has been that door hangers are incredibly effective. So you could always do that too. What else do we talk about? This is basically the subject of my talk yesterday. It was branding and marketing. Basically, that you need to be the marketing expert, or the marketing expert, or the brand ambassador for your brand, right? So one of the other things I do, which we didn't do this time, was we usually run a contest that says that the first 5 videos you should shoot are the who, the what, the when, the where, the why of your business. Who are you? What do you do? When do you do it? Where do you do it? And most importantly, why do you do what you do? 5 videos in 5 days. We ran the contest at almost every one of the events this year. stopped it though, because it seems like even after someone won the contest and after the contest was over, the video stopped. And that's not really the intention of the contest. The intention of the contest was to get these contestants to get contractors making videos. I know they're incredibly important. I wouldn't invest in this channel and in this equipment if I didn't believe video was incredibly important. Um, anyway, start shooting videos today, tomorrow. You got a phone in your pocket. That phone has more resolution, and you might be watching this on it right now. Who knows? But your phone has better resolution than the camcorder that I started creating video on. So for Ozark Fence, the first video, I'd have to go back. I always say it's the first video. I should fact check that. One of the first videos or the first series of videos we did with following the Marcus Sheridan, They Ask You Answer, was in my living room. Went and on Amazon, got a great backdrop, stood in front of that, got a cheapo light off Amazon. Is like, I think it was a ring light, and put a camcorder in that ring light and started filming photos. Filming photos? No, I didn't. I started making videos. Anyway, yeah, I mean, quality wasn't great. The editing, I did it myself. Editing wasn't great either, but I got the point across, right? So now you've got a phone in your pocket that has better resolution than the camcorder I had. Also, through the advent of Facebook Live, now you don't have to edit. You just type in whatever the title of whatever it is you want to talk about. It could be Q. When do you guys start, or when does Ozark Fence stop building fence for the winter? Answer to follow. That's your title of the video. And then you press go Facebook Live, start talking. Whatever backdrop you got, whether it's a fence or you're there in your office or you're in your vehicle. I think selfie videos in vehicles are incredibly powerful because it shows you're a real person living a real life. You're not in a studio. You're not in a perfect scenario. You're a guy, a contractor, or a gal who took time out of your day, stepped off your project, jumped in your vehicle, filmed an answer, right? Question: when do you stop building fence for the year? Answer: good news, we don't. So question and answer videos are always powerful too. That's where I would start. But I'm a video marketing guy. I love video. I love making videos about marketing and branding. So it stands to reason that that's where I would start, right? Hope that helps. If it doesn't help at all, drop another comment. We'll talk about something else. Chris, you're very welcome. Message me directly. I'd be happy to, clarify that. Better than that, I could probably set you up on a Zoom with Sarah, who could explain more in depth the sales process and how she does takeoffs, enters them into Job Nimbus. That was the whole point. That was one of the reasons I had the open house and brought everyone in, is I had all of my rock stars available for everyone else to sit and talk to, because I can give you the overall answer, right? I can give you the general process answer, but Sarah's making modifications daily to her process. I give her the freedom to do that because she's my residential rock star. So the answer I give you is going to be accurate, but she can probably give you a more detailed, accurate answer as well. So shoot me a message. I'll set you up with a Zoom call with both of us. So if you have a question for me, I can be available. You'll probably get more benefit out of talking with her just because you'll get a more detailed answer. What are we talking about here, guys? Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. The only reason I saw this was I know two guys here in Springfield that are Steelers fans, and I don't know why. Why? I don't get it. If you're from Pittsburgh, I guess I understand, but Steelers fans, I don't get it. Yeah. Pressure selling is wrong and generally targets the elderly. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Pressure selling's wrong. I absolutely yes, that I agree. And here's the thing about pressure selling is it usually leads to regret, right? The person realizes that they weren't actually given a choice. Now it could be presented as a choice. It could be, you could be told it's a choice and talked into the fact that you're making a choice with once you get a few days away, you start replaying that in your mind, you realize I didn't have a choice. Like he was not leaving or she was not leaving until I signed on the dotted line and I gave them a check, or whatever the process is. There's typically always regret. And why would we implement any sort of process into our business that leads to regret? Especially if we subscribe to the philosophy that we are first a customer service company and then a specialist in whatever we specialize in. For example, Ozark Fence is a customer service company that happens to install fence. I believe that. I really do. We talk about it every month at our team meeting, our final Friday meeting, where we all get around the table and we talk about what we've done last month, what we're doing the next month, every single month. Guys, just a reminder, we're a customer service company that happens to build fence. Right up there on the board. Everybody knows it. We talk about it all the time. It's something I'm passionate about. So if we subscribe to that philosophy, there is no room for adding a process that could lead to regret, i.e., a bad customer experience. High pressure selling is just that. I mean, it's why the automotive industry got a bad rap, right? Because for a while now, and I say for a while, I mean years ago, they implemented high pressure sales tactics. It happened. But now since they have also seen that that's not great for customer experience, and they've moved away from that entirely. It's why a lot of them have moved to online sales, Carvana, or who else does those? The online car retailers. That's why they're flourishing, because it's literally, here's a picture, here's an information, you can click buy now. Don't have to go deal with any sort of sales process. It's all online, it's all automated. That's why those are taking off, because in the past, the automotive industry has had a bad reputation for high pressure sales processes. I don't want to see us go down that road. I don't think it's worthwhile. Can it lead to more sales? Sure, but at what expense? Right? More sales short term. I would argue less sales long term. Once you start getting a reputation for high pressure sales, no one wants to do that. No one wants to deal with that. No one wants to be sold in any way. I don't care if we're talking about fence, roofs. I don't care if we're talking about sneakers. No one wants to be sold. Everyone wants to buy what they feel is best for their individual, uh, situation. Is the word I was looking for. Steve Boy says we call them U nails in Europe. There you go. That is exactly what it is. It is a U nail. Look at you guys calling it exactly. We should probably do that. What are we? Steeples is what we call. Why are they a steeple? I don't know. I mean, maybe if you look at them on end, maybe they kind of look like a church steeple. I don't. Anybody know why we call those things steeples? Do we call it? Maybe my grandpa just called them steeples, and I'm just completely wrong. I don't know. I'm finding I'm finding out a lot of what I learned the name of the thing aren't necessarily the actual names of them that everyone else in the world calls them. The comments have taught me that, so thank you for the comments for that. Divine Fence, welcome. Hello, Joe, and everyone, and your friends in Massachusetts. Divine Fence, welcome, welcome. Massachusetts is probably getting a little bit cold right now. Home Guard Goes Hard says, thank you for your advice. You're welcome. I mean, that honestly, guys, marketing and branding, advertising is what I enjoy doing. It's what I do here. What I do for Ozark Fence. Like I said, it's what I enjoy doing. Actually, so Monday, I'm looking forward to Monday. Monday's going to be a good day. You know why? Because I completely tear apart our marketing campaigns and I rebuild them for the winter. It is something it'll take all day. It'll take all of my attention all day, more or less. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a fire or two to put out, but Monday's marketing day, and I am stoked for Monday. Roger says, I think something along the lines of a utility sign bracket would work, usually stainless steel. Yeah. Yeah, utility sign bracket would probably work. So, yeah, I bet that would work. I'm just trying to think through the practical application. I can see that working. You might check that out, Angel. Is that right? Angel A, I think was. Yep, Angel A. Might check that out. Oh, nope. That's me, Marcus Sheridan. That's who you should go check out. Seriously. I'm not affiliated with him. I'm not associated with him. I met him once at a conference for like 2 minutes outside a room he was going to talk in. If you asked him who Joe Everest was, he'd say, Joe who? So anyway, Marcus Sheridan. You should check him out. If you're interested in marketing and branding, building a brand that has longevity, you should check that guy out. He is an incredible. If you get the opportunity to see him speak in person, you do that. You go where he is and you sit and you be a student. That's what I love doing. So I'll be going to Social Media Marketing World. I believe that is also in February. Let's check that out. This is one problem of mine is I just put a bunch of stuff in my calendar and then I just wait to see if it works. The Social Media Marketing World did better work because I bought tickets for this in 2019 for the 2020 event. Obviously didn't happen. San Diego, California. So you can imagine that got canceled pretty quickly, being that it's in California. Well, maybe it's in March. I think it is in March. I don't know. We'll have to find it somewhere. It's got to be in here. Anyway, I understand this is probably a terrible video. Social Media Marketing World. I will be there. I will be taking Jeremy, who is what is his new title? That's a great question. He used to be my videographer, but now he is much more than that. So he's my right-hand man on planning out content for this YouTube channel. He does all the pre-edits for the YouTube content. He's my guy. He's one of the YouTube guys. Also, Will is our editor extraordinaire. If you see the editing on here and you're like, wow, seems like a pro did that, that's because a pro did that. That's Will. It does all our editing, transitions, etc. Also does a lot of the copy and the descriptions, not for the lives. That's on me. Also on the hot takes. So the hot take content, the Saturday content, that's our guy, Will. I don't believe he'll be coming to Social Media Marketing World. I believe he and I talked about that. He wasn't able to attend. He had a conflict. But I'll be taking Jeremy, my YouTube guy, and Sarah, my client experience officer. She's a millennial. So millennials spell experience with an X. She is not our CEO. She's our CXO. And she tries to tell you she's Ozark Fence's CEO. You tell her it's CXO. If you see her, pretty please. Anyway, we'll be taking both of them and myself, and we'll be going to San Diego for Social Media Marketing World 2022. Pretty sure it's in February. Might be in March. I know, springtime. It's usually in February, but the world's weird right now, right? So it right as rain. It was always, I think, the second week in February, pretty much consistently throughout the year. Now it's not. So we've got Fence Tech. Those of you fence guys out there and stainers, why don't you come too? We've got Fence Tech. I believe that's the third week in February. And then the fourth week is Staining University. So I'll be going to Fence Tech. I'll be hanging out in the my Salesman booth. I'll also be hanging out in the Stain and Steel Experts booth. So we'll be doing meetups periodically throughout Fence Tech. I'll also be filming some content there, walking around and seeing what the new tools are, what the latest and greatest fencing technology, but also some tried and true, right? Like one thing comes to mind, I'll probably meet up with guys probably with the wire hog and the concrete hog and everything like that. Meet with those guys, show, whatever innovations maybe have come out with that. Probably also stop by some tool booths, some automation booths, just see who's there and what they have to say about 2022. So if you're going to making plans to attend Fence Tech, come see me. Stay tuned. So, all right, guys. 2:18, my time has flown. It's 12:15 Central here. So we got about 15 more minutes to talk about anything you guys have on your minds. So we'll start wrapping up here in just a little bit. 12:30 is pretty hard out. Maybe not a hard out, but it's a mild out. So we've got family pictures later this afternoon. And I still have to unpack the truck from the Staining University and Business Growth Accelerator. Let's talk about that name for a minute. Business Growth Accelerator. So what we're trying to do, Staining University and Business Growth Accelerator, we're trying to encompass all the value you get in this event in the title, right? So when you read the title, you understand the event. Social Media Marketing World. Pretty much sums it up. You'll be meeting with people from all over the world. You'll be talking about social media marketing. So how do we explain accurately the value you receive from attending one of these training events? This iteration of the title was Staining University and Business Growth Accelerator. What do you guys think? What do you think of the title? Do you think we should change the title? Do you think there is a title that better describes the speakers that you'll be listening to, the group discussions that you'll be participating in, the hands-on training you'll receive. Is there a better name out there? I'd sure like to hear it. Divine says, checked out the new Arma gates coming out soon this past week for slide gates. It's going to save fortune on transport of large gates and labor. They're made in smaller sections and they're put together. Very interesting. Arma gates. I will be checking those out. Where did you check them out, Divine? I'd certainly like to check that out. So big gates are always a problem, right? So you can ship gates up to 50 foot, basically 53 foot, semi-deck. So anything over a 50-foot gate, you have to assemble on site anyway, right? So it's kind of a pain. And shipping a 50-foot gate is not inexpensive. So if Arma Gates has a solution, it says 4 slide gates, it's going to save a fortune on transport. So if they can save money on transporting, which right now transport is expensive. To move a truck across the United States is wildly expensive. It's 2 to 3 times what it cost 24 months ago. So if we could save money on freight, that is absolutely going to be beneficial. They're made in smaller sections and they're put together. I love the sound of that. So they are from Master Halco. So I'll reach out. We deal with Master Halco, Kansas City. Reach out to Frank up there, or Brandon, Amanda, one of them. Say, hey, what's going on with these Arma gates? We already buy those Postmaster posts from them, so be worth checking out. Maybe doing a short video here on Arma gates. So definitely worthwhile checking out for sure. Yeah. So what did we discuss today? We discussed the event wrap up, what all we did, who all we heard from, what we talked about. We talked about marketing, which I'm pretty proud of myself for not going on for hours about. Marketing is a subject that I love talking about. So I think the talk yesterday, my media marketing talk yesterday went for, about an hour and a half. So I can get to talking. I'm pretty proud of myself for keeping that one short and succinct. We talked about that. What all we talked about? Let's see. Make sure we didn't miss anyone's comment, because last week's live, I missed several comments, and I don't know how that happened. I went back and I was going through the chat and the replay, and I found 2 comments there I didn't even answer. Good grief, Joe. All right. Talk to Roger. Talk to Billy. Talk to Roger again. Talk to Adam Sims. What is up, Adam? Stainman was in Kansas. Later on, we found out he's visiting family, so that explains why he's not in Texas. James, Billy, and Roger, and Cannon. Kenny again. Cannon again. Like I said, if you guys are looking for another Finch show to follow, check out Cannon and Dan's show on Wednesday. My Fence Life is, I believe, the title. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's on the Fencing Professionals Facebook page. I'm just going through. Let's see. I don't know. Looks like we caught him. If you guys have a comment, if you guys put a comment in here but didn't have a response, drop it. Let me know. Drop it in the comments again. I would love to answer each and all of your questions, but it looks like we're pretty caught up. Yeah, looks like it. So, but gotta go click this comment off. Yep, check out Cannon Dan on Wednesdays, My Fence Life. Other channels that we like to follow, gosh, there's a bunch, right? So D&J Projects out of Nottingham. I love it. So those guys do a video that's basically the format is day in the life format, right? So it's them, they're filming their day-to-day life, what it looks like working at D&J throughout the week. They do 2 uploads on Sunday and Wednesday, I believe. I'm pretty sure Sunday, and then they do a midweek update on Wednesday. So check those guys out. D&J Projects is their YouTube channel. Also, Mark Olson, the Successful Contractor. Check them out, or check him out. So Mark's starting over. He is a part of, and my understanding is he remains a part of SWI out of Wyoming, but he moved to Florida, starting a new fence company. Starting a new fence company. So he's showing kind of the startup process, what you need to go through. And he's coming to learn that things in Florida are a little bit different than Wyoming, starting out with business license, getting licensed to conduct business in his town and county in Florida, a little bit trickier than Wyoming. Is eye-opening for me, because starting a business here in Springfield, Missouri, pretty straightforward. You go down to City Hall, you pay a fee, get your business license. Just about that simple. Well, of course, you have to register with the state and that sort of thing. Anyway, a few more steps in the process for old Mark, but a successful contractor. He another good channel to follow. Sean King, Mr. Fence, great channel to follow. Are just a few. Actually, I tell you what. So if you navigate, made that word sound weird. Navigate to the YouTube page. This you search YouTube for Joe Everest, you'll find the page. Up at the top, I actually have links for all the pages I like to follow. Check them out there. You can click on them and take you straight to those pages. So I enjoy supporting our community, whether we're talking communities in general, right? Whether we're talking about local community, we talked about this quite a bit about how we as an industry can support our local communities and therefore build stronger communities for us to work in. So whether it's local communities or whether it's online communities, I like to support. So if you guys are looking for more fencing content, you should check out those channels. Divine, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Are there videos? Let me ask you guys. So there's a few of you guys left here. I was wrapping up, so some people dove out. Completely understandable. Those of you left, is there video content that I haven't made that you guys would like to see made? We're to the point now where we're kind of scratching our heads. I'm looking at like the video board where we're planning out videos. Big announcement next week. I was supposed to say that earlier, Jeremy. I'm sorry. I was supposed to say big announcement next week. I'll be bringing it to you in a video. We've got that, but we're getting to the point where we're looking for more video ideas. It's getting colder, so the outdoor content is going to start wrapping up. We've got a few ideas, so we're going to go out and visit the zoo. I need to contact them still, but going to go out and visit the zoo, talk about what fencing at a zoo looks like, what different types of fences are utilized for different animals. We're going to talk my ideas are we're going to talk about like the giraffes, the tigers and lions, the elephants, and anyway, all of the animals. What kind of fence is needed to run a zoo? Same thing with sporting complexes. We'll be talking about that too. So, but if there's content you'd like to see, drop in the comments. So I already see a few. Yep. Dave says D&J Projects Sunday and Wednesday. Check out our fencing fam in the UK. I was gonna say our brothers across the pond. That works too. But our fence fam across the pond, D&J Projects. Cheers back at you, David. All right. So David says yard tour. I like this idea. So I want to say we did one a little while ago, but it was actually, I don't think it was. I think Mark Olson had it on his channel. So very good. Very good. And Divine says the same thing. More of your new shop. You bet. So that definitely makes sense. We could do basically a video version of the open house we recently had and just do kind of a walking tour of the facility here. So that was one piece of feedback that made sense, but I hadn't thought about it. So when you look at our shop from the road, so if you do a street view of Ozark Fence here in Springfield, it looks like one big building, like one really wide building. Well, a lot of that's just a facade. It's just a wall, like a stone wall that got put up between buildings. We're actually a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buildings. So instead of one big building, it's 5 smaller buildings, somewhat smaller buildings, smaller being relative, right? So we came from, I was going to say we should also include our old office and shop, but one of my best friends is leasing that out for his exterior remodeling company. So it'd probably be a bit rude to stop by and be like, wow, look where I came from. Anyway, shop tour would be great. Size is relative, right? So we came from 1,200 square feet total. Now I believe I'd have to go back and read. It's around 14,500 square feet. So we've expanded a bit, and we're constantly growing into it. So right now we're waiting on racking to come in. Menards, if you're watching, it'd be great if you ship that anytime soon. We got some racking coming in so that we can bring all the fittings inside, organize those, the bulk fittings. We're also getting a game plan together for the storage of all the bulk pipe and bulk wire that's either on the lot, the pipe and post, or the wire, which is on its way. Yeah, it'd be good to walk you guys through it and show you guys around because I'm always looking for feedback too. So what do you guys see that we could be improving? I mean, ultimately, that was that was one of the benefits of having everyone in, is we got some pretty direct feedback on what we could do differently. So Matt and I had a really good conversation about how his office was, where he came from, how it is now, things he likes about it, things he would change about it, so that we could try to kind of apply some of that here. So David and Divine, I hear you. You bet. We will do a shop tour or a facility tour. That's what we'll call it. Roger says video content ideas, shop functions and tours, gate fabrication, picket stain dip station. You got it. So the dip station, that'll probably be a little bit. So the dip tank we have right now is version 1.0. It needs some updating. We learned a lot through version 1.0. And you know what? That would probably actually be a good video, though, to show what it looks like now and how we're planning on improving it. We should probably build version 2.0 and show 1.0, the shortcomings of 1.0. I mean, it works. We stained pickets earlier this week. Time gets weird when you're away for a little while, but earlier this week we had pre-stained, or we dipped some stained pickets. It works. It could work better. It could work more efficiently. So an update once we get that built. Stain dip, I hear you. Gate fabrication, I hear you there. So that's, again, something we kind of take for granted, right? So we have a fabrication shop where Matt's our lead fabricator in there, builds all sorts of everything from a 4 foot tall, 4 foot wide residential gate to an 8 foot tall. I think recently a cantilever gate was 8 foot tall, 45 foot long, something like that. It was a monster. So, yeah, okay. We might include that in the facility tour, just kind of what the general layout of each building looks like, the functions of each building, and then do kind of more detailed videos, right? So like an overall video, here's each building, here's the functions, and then following that video, more detailed, hey, here's a specific function of this building, here's how we do this thing in this building. Roger, I think you and David and Divine are on to something here. I like this idea. So Jeremy, as you're watching this in replay, remind me about this later. I will go to sleep tonight and I will likely forget most of what we've talked about. No worries. We're still here. Actually, we're getting ready to wrap up. So just about 12:30, a little bit after 12:30. Roger says nothing makes for better content than showing the evolution of a system. I agree. So I just did something that was pretty common, right? Because I was like, ugh, don't want to show shortcomings, I don't want to. I only want to show the good stuff. Well, that's not really helpful, right? You got to see why something failed and the evolution to the next iteration, right? The next version. Here's why this tank is half the depth of the first tank, because it hurts your back bending over for a couple hours picking up these pickets. So we made this thing shallower, still serves the same function, something to that effect, right? So something I'm working on. Like, let's show the whole thing. Let's not sugarcoat this. Let's show the good, bad, and indifferent, or good, bad, and ugly. Show it to y'all. Hello. Thank you for joining us. I love your picture on there. All right, guys. Well, what time is it exactly? It's 12:33. So we're about done. So if you guys have any more questions or comments, though, leave them in the comments below. I get notifications every time you guys every time you guys comment on something, including these lives. So if you're watching this in replay, drop a comment below. I'd love to read it and respond back to you. And then hopefully you'll help us create new content in the future. But Divine, one last comment. I keep doing that. So I'll go to wrap up, and then I'll see something. I'm like, yep, better talk about that. Divine Fence says, have a good Halloween. Gotta love it. All the orange. My favorite holiday. Gotta say it. My favorite one. And you know what? Each year I say it, and each year I don't do it. I need to just wear one of those convict jumpsuits, right? Oh, Kenny Dugan had an amazing idea. I can't believe I forgot he had said this. So when we're staining, have orange jumpsuits made, right, to keep stain from getting all over you. But on the back, instead of the inmate number, it's our phone number. Phenomenal idea. I don't know how I forgot that idea. As soon as he said it, I was like, he did give me that idea like a year ago, and I did nothing with it. I am I'm an embarrassment, especially as a marketer. Are you kidding me? That would be hilarious. Till the sheriff show up thinking they've found some lost boys. Hunter says, thanks, Joe. Hope all the fam has a blessed weekend. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like. David, between you and Roger, you guys are on the ball. If you guys would like to support the channel, a great free way of doing so is hitting that like button. If you find this content helpful, educational, heck, even a little entertaining, it'd mean the world to me if you subscribe to the channel and hit that ring button. Hitting the ring button enables YouTube to let you know each and every time we have new content available. For now, my name is Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you that good fences make good neighbors. And I'll see you guys next time.